Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. It's a brand new week here. Lots of exciting activities have happened over the course of the weekend. And we'll be bringing you some of the stories that have been following up from last week up until this week. And I'm sure that Breakfast Extra has started on some of the stories. You're welcome to the show. I am Olive MOD.
And I'm Benga. I trust you had a pleasant weekend. Congratulations to Joe and our teams qualified for Champions League. Newcastle finished 5th, and
can you see the way
you know, on the same point.
Nothing to your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes,
your team just
Chelsea are also in the Champions League. But Chelsea's story is remarkable. It's not by how you start; it's how you finish.
Thank you.
There was a time you guys were 19th, I believe.
13th.
13th.
And now you are what?
Table and they
fourth, and we qualified for the Champions League, and hopefully this week we're going to win the conference.
I'm wearing blue in
and then we'll thank you so much. And then we'll decide if we really want to play in the Europa League or want to stick to the UEFA Champions League. It's a choice we have to
Champions League
make.
is where the big boys.
But of course, Champions League has more money.
The big boys are Champions League. That's where we at.
You see, I'm going to be talking with a lot of pride today.
Johansson,
that's what it is.
calm down.
But for
They're not the
Manchester,
use pride of football team. Make mouth for public.
but for Manchester United,
he has the bragging rights. Let him shine, please.
It's a bragging rights for Man U. I'm so sorry. I mean,
I'm a Man U fan, by the way.
I'm so sorry, by the way. You guys, you won yesterday by 2-0, but unfortunately.
Oh, thank you. If Man U had not beaten Villa, Newcastle would not have qualified.
So you should be thanking
Newcastle
thank you for the favor.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. See, you don't used to tie football club winning or losing to the chest. If not, you have high blood pressure.
No, but
you will not rest.
But I don't.
At least when you win, you celebrate.
And if you lose, we try again. We move.
I mean, there are videos of people online who had. I mean, that's why I want people to be careful. Betting and all that, it could throw you into a serious situation where you hardly recover from.
It's a vice.
So they have to be careful. They showed people yesterday crying.
I'm looking forward to the area boys in Lagos next year. Share City One Champions League. It will be fun. The banter. So welcome back to the Big Boys Club. I know it's been a while since you've played in
just 2 seasons. We've not been in the Champions League for 2 seasons.
It's not just 2 seasons is a lot.
No, it's just 2 seasons.
Newcastle too. Last time we were in Champions League was 2 seasons ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right before 2 seasons, what happened?
Let's start from 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
Anyway, you have Man U to thank for helping you, qualify for the
Champions
League.
I'll buy you lunch. What do you feel like having for lunch? It's been no, I'm sorry. You need heavenly food. Something like manna and egg. Manna from heaven with a little bit of egg and okra.
Which restaurant sells manna?
Why did we stop producing manna?
What did they worry this man?
I don't know what guy. Is there anything inside that cup? Anyway, welcome, guys. Yeah, I mean, let's go straight to our stories for today. First of all, it was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend.
Football. It was also a good weekend for you.
I was in the state of emergency.
Yes, you were there.
How was the atmosphere? Do you feel tense?
Interestingly, the atmosphere did not feel as tense as
exactly.
I mean, life goes on.
People just felt chill, like life goes on. Everybody is going about their business. In fact, I went to one corner to go and buy boli. I see the way they were rushing me. I had to come and buy boli. It was so. Port Harcourt was a fun place. It didn't feel tense. However, Port Harcourt is not as cheap as I expected it to be. I went to buy an outfit and I was just like...
Maybe you went to the VIA and...
It's a lie. I even went into the market. There's one place, I've forgotten their names. Went to like 7 stores. The price they were giving me is Lagos price. I said,
how did you go? Like this?
Maybe it depends on your appearance. Skin popping.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you should have gone with the bathroom slippers, a short, and then with your hair.
I was on the phone with my friend and she said, you are still speaking English. They will give you
exactly.
You better speak pidgin.
Now you've explained yourself.
You've explained yourself.
Port Harcourt is not that expensive. You are the one that didn't act like a Roman in Rome.
Yes. Valid point.
Anyway, talking about sports and celebration, I don't know if you guys saw what happened at the National Sports Festival at the MK Abiola Township Stadium in Ogun State. We're about going into it was a 10,000 kilometer race, and while the athletes were strutting, running, doing their stuff, lo and behold, NEPA power went off. Lights went off, and you see these athletes running. Now, they couldn't see where they were running to.
Hey.
And everybody cheering them had to now bring out their mobile devices.
My God.
And then they decided to do this, put on touch lights, just like what I have on my phone here. And they were saying, woo,
Hey, God.
Just to cheer them, woo, and they were running. So you see an athlete running, trying to say, where am I?
You know, watching out for the other.
Yes, athletes, so you don't kick the other one.
We have a video of that.
Yes, there's a video.
I'm sure
there's a video also online.
And then when we come back to take a look, come back from that video, then we'll share our thoughts about this. But what is
it's something else. But anyway, I hope the director will be able to get that video up for us in the course of the conversation.
For something of this magnitude, a national sports festival, how long would they even be in the stadium for the day? And knowing that it's a night event, you would rather put your power on generator. At least you can guarantee that, because PHCA has a way of playing yo-yo, and you can't tell when they'll take lights or not. You think when people have weddings and event
I was just
centers,
about to say that.
You think they
now when people
just
do events,
they use now.
It's common sense. Nobody relies on any of the electricity distribution companies. It's common sense to have a backup plan on. It's why when you pay for weddings and all, the moment it's time for your event, the generator comes on and does not go off until your event is done. They even have standby, so that even if there's a transition, it's like a split second or a seamless transition. It is really embarrassing that something at the level of National Sports Festival and we're having power going off. It's such a shame. Again, it goes back to the priority that we've placed in our sporting ministry, the priority that we've placed on sports in Nigeria. It's here you'll be hearing conversations about athletes not being adequately paid, or they have flown to one country, or they've been abandoned. And you're asking, was there a budget? Did they have a budget?
Was
this budget followed through with?
It's going to happen again, because this is what we do. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's almost expected. They'll say, Nigeria way. Nigeria is almost synonymous with things not functioning properly
or normally.
Synonymous with anomalies and dysfunction. It's really terrible. We need to step up. Game. I wonder where we'll start from, but I think the National Orientation Agency, they're trying to rejig the system. But I don't know how, because there's so much information overload. I don't know how they will get the message into everybody's ears, because people are distracted. You have phones, you have social media, you have news. Not how many people can sit there for 1 hour. You remember when we used to watch NTA News at 9? I'm sure so many households used to watch your Newsline on Sundays, but now it's hard to get attention span. Exactly.
I think they have their work cut out for them, in the sense that they could make use of the social media spaces that are available. For instance, TikTok is available. If you have influencers, now I mean influencers who are smart. I don't mean influencers with numbers. Who
embody the message they are passing.
Who would come out and say, okay, these are 5 things. I mean, I'm in a group, it's a PR group, and the current conversation that started off on Friday is still on till this morning. And the question is how to rebrand Nigeria. There are lots of, everybody was talking, and somebody said, how are you going to rebrand Nigeria when we have so much negativity in terms of coming from, okay, take a look at the interview we had with the governor of Borno State. I talked about insecurity, how you have people
the police every other day, they're in the news for bad
the recent issue that happened in Ibadan, trying to shoot the tire to demobilize.
And there's another one in Abuja over the weekend. Yes.
Branding, for those who, it's going to be a tough task for you to really sit down and say, let's rebrand something that
So why not focus on the positives or amplify the positives?
That's it. So they will now listen to the positives. Okay, let's see what we can do this, do that. So it seems like if you really want to look at rebranding Nigeria in terms of rebranding it, you can't run away from those who have done very well, who have represented us internationally, globally. I'm talking about the entertainment and creative space. You can't run away from that.
Sports.
The biggest AI robotics African is Nigeria.
Sports, fintech,
paid.
Yes.
Sports, you can't run away from that. Creative space in all. Entertainment, the Weezies, the Burner Boys, and so on. But when you come down to the political
class,
and the other space, you now start seeing.
And the Nigerian police, those ones need a different rebranding on their own.
It's a different rebranding, complete. Then the Nigerians, all of us, it's a hard nut to crack, because to tell every single Nigerian that, listen, do this. I mean, the president said, buy Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting to see the next set of convoy, or the convoy. Or better still, we're waiting to see the fiscal policy, or better still, the monies that would be, pushed out, especially to the National Assembly. Let's see
if
what will
they'll
be
prioritize
approved.
local content or not.
See, are we going to see the Nigerian cars there? Are we going to see a lot? A lot is in store. But anyway, lights going out of the stadium. Hopefully, we thought we'd have that video to show to you. It didn't look that good, but then again,
But then again, I would say that our sports sector, again, I hope that this shows how much little priority we've given to sports in Nigeria. Sports is such a huge part of national development. It's giving opportunity to a number of young people to be able to push their careers internationally. We've seen how look at us starting the conversation this morning talking about Chelsea and all the football clubs, the Champions League. If we're going to be able to play at those big leagues and be able to play on certain levels, we must be able to put our house in order and not be having experiences like the one we're about to show you in this video. As heartbreaking and maybe as embarrassing as that video is, if there's anything to take away, any positive to take away, it will be the unbeatable spirit of our athletes who, in the face of situations that seem to overwhelmingly subdue their ability to showcase their art and their craft and their talent, they're still able to forge ahead. Imagine running and the lights go off and not being, taken aback by what has happened, but still pushing ahead. You could see them still running in the
simply
darkness.
put, in darkness, they found light at the end of the tunnel.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And that's the reality of every Nigerian, to be honest. A number of us have had to walk and live through debilitating conditions.
It's a double-edged sword.
Even in the midst of all that, Nigerians, we have a
they say
a spirit that is never dying.
Olive, we always celebrate our spirit of resilience, but I see it as a double-edged sword.
Tell us.
Number one, it's good to persevere and, be resilient as a people. But when does it stop? Because it also makes, the other side of it is, it makes people that are responsible for doing their jobs relax that after all, they'll take it, And then you push a Nigerian to the wall. At what point do you push back? Because he breaks the wall and it keeps going.
It's another place.
It has bad road, buys SUV, no water, no pipe-borne water, drill a borehole, no electricity by generator or solar. And people that are meant to provide these things are just, going about their regular lives, drive around Lagos, and you'll be shocked. And the funds are there.
Yeah. Where does it go to? I mean, there's a new one. We saw what budget just did now, breaking it down. The monies that are being padded into the, come on, and what are Nigerians doing as well?
Trillions.
Maybe that's why politicians work like this, because some of those padding, they add into their shoulder pad.
I see.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. I see. Anyway, let's move to our next story. Yesterday, there was a conversation that started off early in the week from last week, and it finally, metamorphosed
Came
into
to
what
a
we
head.
saw yesterday. And that was because we did see the former governors who met with each other, with the former vice president, not forgetting to, it was a coalition. The coalition talk has continued non-stop, and the plan is to unseat the current ruling party, which is the APC. Now, from the APC, they said, nah, they're just wasting their time. But yesterday, it looked pretty much like, okay, something is starting to happen. You did have Mr. Peter Obi there, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, not forgetting to Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso as well, of the Kwankwasia movement. You also had former Governor of Rabiu State, Mr. Mechi there as well. And all of them were seated for the coalition meeting. The reason, well, they said it was actually to talk to the people of the North. And then Mr. Peter Obi also gave an address where he spoke about why there's poverty in the north, and why there's so much suffering, and why the northern leaders would need to step up and invest in the north and also in the future of the children. So there you have the footage there. But we also heard that it was marred at certain points
some delegates
by some delegates who engaged in, well, not really fisticuffs, but we did hear that it almost led to that. You know, trading words.
Yeah, the delegates didn't want the person that was appointed to speak on their behalf. So when the secretary, you know, Nabacha had said that this is the person who will speak on their behalf, they blocked the stage, refusing to allow the person to speak
kind
on
of
their
like
behalf.
what happened in Rivers.
And then
at the town hall, yes.
At the town hall. Why is he speaking? Who is he?
Yeah, but I guess the people have a right to decide who they think will be better suited to represent their interests. You know, eventually, it was the son of former state governor that spoke on their behalf.
And sadly, that was one of the biggest takeouts of, I mean, regardless of everything that happened, many people focused on that conundrum.
Yeah, you're right. But what does this mean for Nigerian politics? Well, at the same time, I'm a bit confused. I'll use that word confused because the papers, as at yesterday on Sunday, were putting double headers. The first header was the coalition meeting, which you just saw. The next header was Peter Obi says he's going to run on
Labour Party.
So, I don't know.
Is he going for a coalition? I mean, is he going to run on Labour Party's platform?
I believe it's still early days. It's still early days, and I don't think they've agreed to anything yet. But the biggest news is at least three political heavyweights,
even five,
they're in the same place. So that should send some signals to the ruling APC that, you know, the opposition is getting its act together. They mean business. They will be praying for them not to be able to unify and agree.
Said it's not going to work.
And they've already said it's not going to work. So I guess we'll play the game of wait and see.
Exactly. I mean, if they work together, you know, for those who are Christians, the Bible talks about the Tower of Babel and how they had to speak multiple languages for that tower not to get to a certain level, because we're trying to build this tower to get to heaven. But, you know, God said, if I allow these people continue, they will one day get to me. So, you know what? Speak different languages.
And that's where languages like Ibibio, Yoruba, and others came.
Why did you start with Ibibio? Why did you say French?
How do you feel attacked?
But let me also say this, guys. This is the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we've seen the APC moving with serious force to ensure that they galvanize movements within the South, and it's starting to pay off. You do have River State, you do have Delta, Akwa Ibom is looking good, Cross River. So it's like the APC is getting set for 2027 and it's looking very good. Now, if you come to the Southwest, it's also starting to look pretty good one way or the other, especially in the Southwest. But there's a problem, the North. And we do remember what they say about the North.
The North Central, North East, North West,
the North itself,
entire North.
Up North, the entire North. Now, whether you like it or not, whatever, like they say, whatever happens in the North, up North, kind of like trickles down to the Central. So this is starting to become, I think the APC, regardless of whatever they're saying, it's also a cause for worry, because if the Northern leaders, you know, merge together and say this is it.
I can't remember the politician that said this. Let's be careful of not making these mistakes. Governors don't decide votes.
No, they don't.
So you might have governors in the Southeast and the entire South that have endorsed a president, and then on election day you see a different result. So let's not be too excited about saying, because political analysts tend to do that. Once a governor has decamped or has changed parties, then it means the entire state is going to vote this way. No, the people will decide at the end of the day. So,
I agree.
Yes.
We
also need to remember that factor. That's
I also saw a tweet I wish I shared with you guys. Where is this tweet? I can't seem to find it now.
Okay.
Of course, it's a politician.
What's the idea behind it?
He actually made a tweet, and it's something that you also would want to think about. He said that he is the first to state it here, and is going to make it clear that everyone who is moving to the APC, that there are a few people who are moving there. It's a strategy from the other political parties. Just go there, join them, and destabilize everything in 2027. And I laughed. I'm like, he said, I'm saying it here now, watch and see. And I'm like, okay, drama.
I mean,
Bottom
just
line,
also
drama.
quote something that was attributed to Peter Obi. It was said that he said that the region struggle with insecurity and rising criminality is not rooted in culture or religion, but in deep systemic poverty. He says, and I quote, "You cannot fight poverty without education, and you cannot fight insecurity without addressing hunger and hopelessness. The North has voted for religion and tribe in the past. Now is the time for competence, character, and a shared national vision." Who will the North be voting
He's
for?
right.
Will it be the coalition or something else?
Reminds us of what's it called? Game of Thrones. When you talk about the North. Yeah.
What's that guy's name called? Forgotten. Yeah, but did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, yes. I love Jide Kosoko's part. It was sweet. It was lovely. You will love it.
You will forgot that Femi Kuti played.
Yeah.
Inside there. There's a scene where he was playing saxophone.
Two of you. Terrible.
I remember. You're right.
All right, moving away from the conversations about the King of the North or the Kings of the North. Just to wrap things up, JAMB has released results again for the receipt, and there have been reactions from a number of people. People started to share their results. I did see Alex Onya, the CEO of Educare, who has been at the forefront of this conversation, sharing results of some of his students who had done poorly at the first JAMB results this year, but upon the receipt had gotten really good scores. So congratulations to those who have passed, but then again, as usual, there are people who are starting to question the integrity of the receipt exam and wonder if this reveals the actual results of the students.
And when you start to cast doubt on exams, it does something to its reputation, and its authenticity. Because what happened 2 weeks ago? Why is it different now? But for those that passed after seeing the first results that had glitched, the first initial results that had mass failures, congratulations to them. But let's hope lessons have been learned. But I am still concerned, and Madam Obi Ezekwesili, former education minister, also questioned the timing, that it was too early.
Yeah.
He didn't even sit down, take a breather, you know, allow the students to recover psychologically from the trauma. And in less than 2 weeks, they were right in the same.
But just to mention that Alex Onya's students who have done really well do not represent the majority of students' results. According to reports, 70.7% of candidates scored below 200, according to JAMB. This is the rescheduled UTME. Now, let's give you what the numbers are. They say that 1.3 million candidates, representing 70.7%, scored less than 200 points in the 2025 UTME. The examination body then explained that 117,373 candidates scored above 250 points, even as 565,988 polled above 200 points. So there are other numbers here that I'm wondering if it's necessary to read. They said candidates with earlier release results need not recheck their results, as candidates affected by the withdrawal are being notified through text messages on their registered lines and their
And I heard 20,000 people didn't show up for the receipt.
But that's in a way understandable.
I mean, why?
It's bound to happen.
It's understandable
It's bound to
because
happen. Benga, people have spent money. They've put their children on classes, you know, getting them ready. Transportation. There was a man who called. I was listening to a radio station while driving sometime before the first one. The man said he had spent so much. He had to lodge the child, not just one, about two of them, feeding, every single thing. Then sometimes he would have to go there. They had to take someone to stay with them so that they would be prepared, both in mind, spirit, body, and everything, prior to the exam. And after everything, it seems like all the monies he wasted, spent, it's gone. So some people, mentally, you want them to come back from that position or that space where they are in a short time and tell them to go back again. You expect them to borrow money again. So there's a lot. Psychologically, I agree. I was thinking that maybe a lot of them would not be able to write these exams, and I'm right, and it happened as well.
Yeah, it's sad that, I mean, it's life. Some that wrote this receipt exam following the glitches still found themselves in stitches. Let's hope JAMB
I think JAMB should have waited.
Better job.
Okay, so just to highlight that the figures we called were for the original one. We don't have the exact figures yet for the receipts.
Okay,
but
great.
we have seen people who have said that they haven't really, I mean, it wasn't much of a difference. But yeah, congratulations to those who have excelled after the receipt exam. I really do hope I wonder about what this might mean for the integrity of JAMB in the coming future. In the past few years, yes, there have been failures, but Professor Oloyede had been commended for a number of the reforms that had come to JAMB, or that he had brought to JAMB. I wonder what the implication of this whole situation will cost for JAMB's integrity in the coming years.
So it's beyond shedding tears. It's doing the work and restoring the integrity.
To be honest, he did try. I think he's done some great work with JAMB before now. It's just unfortunate that this has happened. And, you know, like they say, in many situations, you're as good as your last report. So people then easily would tend to forget all the others. Because I know that it was when he became registrar of JAMB, I heard for the first time that JAMB had remitted monies to federal coffers. I hadn't heard of that in a long time. So you could see that he had realized that there were gaps and there were lacuna for people.
Maybe that means they're charging too much for the forms. And I think you raised it on the day we spoke to the gentleman.
The prices for the forms are too much.
You're not a revenue generating...
that is where the problem is. Like, you're a revenue generating organization to be generating money to give back to the federal government. When JAMB was set up, you know what you were set up for. And
no, but if he's returning money to the federal coffers, monies that were not returned before, it tells us that those monies were going somewhere.
That's fine. But
he also made a request when he seated before the National Assembly. He also made a huge request of how much would be needed to carry out this examination. And the National Assembly they were like, why do you need so much money? He said they have to feed everyone, they have to do this. I can't remember the exact figures, but it was indeed very huge. I mean, and everybody who understands what it takes would also wonder, why do you need so much money to carry out this examination? But then again, I think I would like to toe the same line that everyone has, you know, some persons have told, which is, I think we should look into maybe taking JAMB off as a process to get our kids into the university. I think they should write the university.
Or breaking it down,
You know, just go straight. If you're interested in going to University of Ibadan,
but then there's also
sit down.
Standardization. Anyway, they still write post-UTME.
It's the same thing. Just sit down and write the examination. If you decide to say, I want to study medicine in UI, I want to study engineering, just sit down, prepare for the examinations, write directly with the university as it is. I mean, going through the whole process of I have to write JAMB gives me a cutoff mark and so on.
Even after the struggles of JAMB, you still need to face the hurdle of post-UTME.
Exactly.
Man, it's really hard being a student these days.
I'm glad education has grown past this.
I'm glad that we didn't have to deal with a lot of
all of that.
Anyway,
education has grown
still talking about education, the education sector, we agree, needs a total overhaul and revamp. And it's not just at the tertiary levels. We're talking secondary school and primary schools. And speaking about the revamp in the education sector, some weeks back, we took a video of an altercation between a parent and someone who is either meant to be a proprietor or a principal of a school, where there were arguments as to a 4-year-old child not being asked to use the bath, not being allowed to use the toilet, and now it had snowballed into this very big issue. It had become a subject of national discourse. Everybody has been talking about it, and we, of course, addressed it on the show as well. We brought in an education expert, Ronke Adeni, CEO of Le Poche Schools, and she joined us here to talk about the story in detail. The analysis was about the education sector and about what was filmed in that video. We did try to reach out to the school. Unfortunately, we were not able to get, as we do not see any website for the school, and the numbers found online were all switched off. So this is an open invitation to the school in question to say that we want to have a full conversation about this on the show tomorrow. And we are hoping that we can hear all sides of the story, from the parent who was involved and who we hear her kids have now been expelled and sent to another school, to the school in question, which is said to be Anti-Joy School. We would like to get representatives from the school. So this is an open invitation so we can hear all sides of the story and present a fuller picture on the show tomorrow. We'll take it a step further and send them a message. Now that we see that they've now opened an Instagram account, we'll send them a message right after the show. But this is just to mention that we'll be discussing about this on air tomorrow. But that's all that we have this morning on Wake Up Conversations. Let's share with you what our top stories are this morning on News Central. This morning on Breakfast Central, FCT Minister pulls out peace deal, says justice must stand. Doesn't seem like that's coming to an end anytime soon. Ijaw and Urhobo communities decry delays in INEC's delineation exercise. Aftermath of Anambra APC primaries will also be in the spotlight in our focus this morning. Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia, reports. And of course, our newspaper front pages, we'll review that this morning. We'll have our analysts join us, and we welcome you to join us for this as well. Stay with us. The Ijaw and Urhobo communities of Warri Federal Constituency are raising serious alarms over the continued delay by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in carrying out the much-needed delineation of electoral wards and polling units in Warri North, Warri South, and Warri Southwest local government areas.
The Supreme Court had earlier ordered a fresh delineation of electoral boundaries in Warri Federal Constituency, ruling that was meant to ensure fairness and proper representation in elections. However, INEC's delay in implementing this directive has generated reactions among the affected communities.
Well, the stakes couldn't be higher. Without proper delineation, the constituency could be left without legal electoral structures by 2027. Joining us to give a legal perspective into his concerns, and of course, this concern is a legal practitioner, Mr. Eric Omale. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Is there a reason why the Supreme Court's judgment that ordered the fresh delineation of the electoral boundaries in Warri Federal Constituency is difficult to implement? Is there any reason?
Well, thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to be on your platform. When the judgment was delivered on the 2nd of December 2022, I handled the case for the appellant, the young people of Warri. I was instructed and I wrote a letter to INEC immediately, attaching the judgment and also asking them to implement the judgment before the conduct of the 2023 general elections. INEC subsequently called for a stakeholders meeting. At that meeting, the explanation INEC gave was that election is a process. They had about 9 items on the timetable. They had done about 8 at that time. It was only voting that was remaining. Therefore, it was practically impossible for them to implement the judgment before the conduct of the 2023 elections. And with the understanding of stakeholders at that meeting, it was agreed that the implementation should be done immediately after the 2023 elections. Now, after the elections, it took INEC months to take any steps there in respect of the implementation. So the Ijaws and Urhobos went to Abuja to protest, which led to a meeting between the leadership of INEC and the stakeholders, and it was agreed that the process of implementation should start. Subsequently, meetings took place. There was a field work. Now, after the field work, the secretaries went to court, obtained an interim order to stop the process without telling the court that the process was the Supreme Court ordered process. And that delayed for several months before that order was set aside and a field report was submitted. Now, some of us thought that haven't presented the interim field report and observations haven't been done as requested by INEC. INEC would take the next step, which is to engage with the stakeholders and address genuine issues that may have been raised and conclude the process. Because as noted by one of you, without the in compliance with the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, at this moment, there are no electoral wards and polling units. And these are the foundations of any electoral process. So what it simply means is that there is a risk that there will be no election in the Warri Federal Constituency, that is the State House of Assembly, the Federal Constituency, and of course, maybe the Delta South Central District may be affected in the 2027 election. So my appeal on this platform is for INEC to immediately take necessary steps to engage stakeholders. Some groups have made observations. Those observations need to be attended to, then release the final report of the delineation so that the Warri Federal Constituency can be part and parcel of the electoral process in the 2027 elections.
I know you've mentioned that, the implication of this not happening so far, the delineation not happening, would mean that they do not have, there might not be elections. But what are the other implications of, how this might stifle the political voice, their political voices, and, cause them to be further underrepresented? What are the implications of this not happening if INEC doesn't heed this call?
No, there will be a lot of implications. Part of it is that there will be unrest. And that unrest may come from different angles. For example, the Ijaws and Urhobos have insisted that there should be compliance with the judgment of the Supreme Court, which is the proper thing to do. And if you don't comply with a judgment of court, what you are simply doing is to invite anarchy. People will now take laws into their hands. And in any case, INEC do not have the right to deny the people of the Warri Federal Constituency from participating in the electoral process because of their inability to comply with a judgment of the Supreme Court by performing that statutory responsibility. So I do hope that they will do what is proper before the conduct of the 2027 election. And that is by the doorstep, because electoral process normally starts with delineation. After delineation, you go to registration of voters. After that, there will be party congresses to elect candidates and some other activities. And those activities are about to commence with respect to the 2027 election. So I hope that INEC would do what is proper within the ambit of the law without further delay. Because if not, I cannot really predict the dimensions that it will take, but I know that there will be a lot of reactions from different stakeholders. Already, people are agitated as to reason for the delay, and there's no reason why INEC should put people in suspense. I expect INEC to engage stakeholders, address issues that have been raised, and release the final reports.
I mean, you've talked about INEC addressing stakeholders, but the level of tensions we've seen between the Ijaw and Urhobo and Ishekiri communities with regards to this ward delineation has reached such a level that many believe that INEC alone might not be able to assuage fears or reduce the tension. When the stakeholder meetings, as you've suggested, eventually happens, do you think INEC alone would be able to calm frayed nerves and move this process ahead? Because some are already accusing the INEC of bias. So
the tensions that you refer to are not unprecedented in our electoral process. In every electoral process, especially in the context of Nigeria, where there is a do-or-die affair, or there is intention to want to have their ways all the times, the tensions are part and parcel of the process. But beauty of it is that there are institutions that handle different aspects of it. If there are security issues arising in the process of this delineation, just as they do in the elections, the security agencies are expected to handle it. If there are legal issues, it is expected that people will present their legal issues to the court, and the court will attend to them. Most of the issues that have been raised are already subject of litigation. So I do not think that the supposed tension, for those of us in Warri, I speak from Warri now, there's no tension in Warri. Warri is calm. Some of the things that you read on the newspapers and you see in the television may not necessarily mean that there's so much tension that people cannot have a conversation. So whatever issues that people may have raised, the best way to go about it is to call stakeholders and attend to those issues. It is not to keep people in suspense. It is not to stay away from the people. The solution is call stakeholders, address genuine issues that have been raised, and conclude the process. If there are security issues, the security agencies to handle it. If there are legal issues, the courts are there to handle it.
All right. I mean, just last week or so, we did have a guest who came and talked about how this is affecting the community, the perspective, the mindset of the people, especially the Ishekiri people, how it seems like there seems to be a power tussle from one tribe to the other. Would you rightly say that it's time that everyone sits together and do that as soon as possible? Because you've said that you're waiting on the Supreme Court's judgment, and then, of course, it's not been implemented yet. What actions, bottom line, what actions can be taken now so that this doesn't linger any further?
And just to add to what my colleague has said, our guest that came in last week also mentioned that there's an interested party in INEC which might manipulate decisions to favor one party over the other.
Well, these allegations in most cases are unfounded. And from this terrain, I understand what happens here, and I also had the privilege of being part of this case, the case that led to the judgment at the Supreme Court, and of course led the legal team at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. So I know what is obtainable here. In actual fact, the Shekiris, with respect to them, have no reason to complain. They got more than what they deserve. The people that, in my view, genuinely has a case are, for example, the Obejon people in Warri Southwest, whose the field report was not considered. 130 communities, 251 points were identified for the creation of polling units in Obejon in Warri Southwest, but none was considered in the report. In Warri North, the people of Opuama, who are Ijaw people as well, Opuama and Sekelewu, their field report was not considered. They have not gone to flow stations to block them. They have submitted their cases to INEC. So if anybody is aggrieved, that is what I expect them. And in my view, it is the Obejon people in Warri Southwest, the Opuama people in Opuama and Sekelewu in Warri North that has a right to complain. And they have gone about it the way it ought to be done. With respect to the Chekiri claim, I do not think, with respect, that in Warri Southwest they deserve more than 5 words. Even the 5 words given to them is unfair. Because, for example, like I said, Obejon is 3 times bigger than the Chekiri population in Warri Southwest. Obejon was given only 2 words. They have not said heaven which will fall. They have made a case to INEC to address it. The same thing with the Sekelewu Opuama case in Warri North. So the complaints that what needs to be done, is that needs to be conversation? Yes, there's need to be conversation. But what I am not comfortable with is the approach of wanting to bring the roof down because you think that things didn't go down your way. I think that what needs to be done, from my experience of the issue in Warri, the problem is lack of political space. Over time, there ought to be more local government areas in the Warri Federal Constituency, preferably homogeneous local government areas for the different ethnic groups. But that has not been done. In the interim, we have to work with what we have. I think that what we need to do, the way forward, is first to complete this delineation process fairly. Give everybody what is due to them, not just between Ijaw and Chekiri, but even within Ijaw and within Chekiri. Give everybody what is due to them based on the realities on ground. Now, once that is done, we need to move to the next stage. And I have advocated, my view is that there is need for creation of additional state constituencies in the Warri Federal Constituency. Now, the implication of the delineation is that in every local government areas, in 3 Warri local government areas, you now have more than 10 electoral wards. In some places, 20 has been proposed, some other places, 19 and 18. That necessitates the creation of additional state constituency. For example, in Warri Southwest, I feel that there should be additional 2 constituencies where the Chekiris will have their own, the Bramatu as part of Warri Southwest will have their own, then Obejon part will also have their own. In Warri South, the Urhobos need to have their own, the Chekiris need to have their own, and then somehow they also need to be platform where the Jones will also have the opportunity to express themselves in the state as well assembly. In Warri North too, there need to be 2 state constituencies so that the Chekiris will have their own, the Jones will have their own. Now, how does this address the problem? The reason is that all the reason for the agitation by the Chekiri people is because they feel that they will be excluded. With them not having the majority in those local government areas, they will not have the opportunity of producing the council chairman, they will not be in the state House of Assembly or in the federal constituency. So if you have these additional constituencies created at every point in time, all the ethnic nationality will have the opportunity of being represented in the state House of Assembly. Then with respect to the chairmanship, in Warri Southwest, for example, there is already a sharing arrangement between the Jones and the Chekiris, a 2-term arrangement. That should be consolidated upon and extended to local government areas like Warri Southwest, Warri South, and Warri North. With that kind of arrangement, and even the federal constituency, there need to be a power sharing arrangement. Some people may want to deny it, but that is a reality that we must face. In any society where you have multiple ethnic groups, in any multi-ethnic society, there must be power sharing. Yeah, that's why in Nigeria, you talk of North-South in the presidency of this country. The same thing with other positions. So the reality stakeholders in Warri must face is that they must sit down after this delineation and agree on a power sharing arrangement. That is my view, is the solution to all the agitations that you are hearing.
And do you think that the Chekiri people will be very receptive to these suggestions that you've made? Because they've argued about the fact that their concerns are about political being, swallowed up politically by other the Ijaws and the Urhobos. They've argued that they have as much rights, and their concerns are about how this delineation exercise will not marginalize them in a sense. They argue that they have as much rights to some of the opportunities that you've mentioned. So, do you think that maybe these suggestions that you've made about power sharing will be enough to pacify the Chekiri people?
Well, there are some situations that you find yourself, you have to face a reality. The reality is that, number one, there's nothing like one person or group having more political rights than the other. Under our laws, both international and local, everybody has equal right to representation in political activities. There's no ethnic group that in any way has right more than others. That's number one. Then two, the reality in the Warri Federal Constituency is that these three different ethnic groups are all indigenous to their communities, and they have all, in actual fact, been participating. And so to say that, oh, they will be swallowed up, like I said earlier, their fear is that the present delineation has brought out a reality, which is that they are minority in all the three local government areas. And minority over the years, from the colonial era where the Area Willis Commission was set up, there have always been special arrangements to take care of minority interests. And that is why I propose the power sharing arrangement. That's the only way to address their concern. Beyond that, it will be majority take all. And I don't support that sort of arrangement where, because one group is majority, they will take all. You know, when the Shekiris are the majority in the Warri Federal Constituency, based on what we know, that was not the true reflection of the reality. Some of us advocated against it. That is not fair in this environment where you have multiple ethnic groups from one ethnic group to be leading. Their fear in actual fact is that, like I said in another platform, they have not been fair to their neighbors. So it is that fear that they have, that because they were treating their neighbors unfairly, their neighbors will also treat them unfairly. That's the fear they have. But I still don't think that the Urhobos and the Ijaws will be that unfair to them. I am an Ijaw man before I propose this power sharing arrangement. So I'm very sure that even the Urhobos will be disposed to a power sharing arrangement where everybody can live and let's live.
Well, anyway, are you in any way worried about any political interference in all of this, be it from the political party, be it from the political personalities? Any worries on that?
Well, there have been some platforms that people have protested to that ordinarily has nothing to do with delineation. For example, some persons have gone to the Office of National Security Advisor. Some persons have protested to the presidency. My advice to them is that we operate a constitutional democracy. The essence of a constitutional democracy is that things are done according to the provisions of the Constitution. INEC is independent in the performance of its functions. If you are not satisfied with what INEC has done, you go to court. Under no circumstance should the Office of the National Security Advisor or the presidency should interfere in this process, because it is a constitutional function of INEC. And I hope that INEC knows their boundaries and will insist on protecting their independence and also do the job according to the law. Issues have been raised. Those issues should be genuinely attended to, especially the issues of Ijaw, Opuama, and Sepelowu that I've mentioned in Warri Southwest and Warri North. Then, if there are genuine issues that the Shekiris have raised, they can look at them. And but most importantly, this process has to be completed. It cannot continue forever.
All right. Thank you so much.
Just before we wrap up, I hear that, as in from our last conversation, that there was a ceasefire in Warri. Is that currently the position, and how long are we expecting that to last?
Ceasefire? Come again,
on protests?
Yes, ceasefire on the protests.
Well, those protests, it wasn't as if there was a continuing protest. They were isolated cases of people reacting to some situations, and that is expected in a democratic environment. What is important is that whoever wants to go and protest must do it within the boundaries of the law. Nobody should take laws into their hands. You recall that there is a case of a group of people who are trying to bring arms into the Warri Federal Constituency to foment trouble, and we have made a strong case to the Office of the National Security Advisor and to the presidency for those people to be brought to justice. We are not in a lawless society where when you are angry, you take laws into their hands. The issue of there's really no ceasefire. There have been isolated cases of protests. Those protests don't last more than 1 or 2 hours. That is normal in a democratic society. And that does not in any way pose security threats to Warri. Warri is calm. Everybody is going about their normal businesses. INEC should complete their job so that the people can leave behind and move on with their lives.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, legal practitioner Mr. Eric Omale, and shedding more light on this current situation. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on now to a very sad story that still keeps us within the southern part of Nigeria. The recent surge in kidnappings in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, has sparked widespread outrage, with families of victims accusing the government and security agencies of negligence and complicity. The Oluwaseyi family, whose daughter Favor was kidnapped on August 17, 2024, has joined the growing list of households demanding justice and swift actions from authorities. News Central's Biola Festus has been tracking this development, and she brings us the story of the Oluwaseyis. Take a look.
She's supposed to write GST this year. When I'm washing others' clothes, I'm not washing my daughter's clothes. Oluwato for me. No love in marriage again, no peace, no happiness. Because our children is our happiness. Leave me back to this side. That's all I'm.
These heart-wrenching statements from a grieving family whose 12-year-old daughter has been missing for 9 months is another sad reminder of the security challenges facing the average Nigerian.
He even threatened that my daughter's private part will be cut. My daughter will be pieces, and all our private parts will be sold to Alaji.
Yes.
Of which we have all this conversation on record.
It's not enough, personal. Please, government should please. My fellow women should please. I'm passing through pains that I can't explain to anybody. Sometimes I just be inside my room crying. Because I'm missing her. Sometimes I will carry her clothes. That a lot of me come back. Because of this, my father-in-law is in stroke. Where is my sister? Is she sleeping on the bed or she's sleeping on the floor? Here is my sister, my bedmate, someone that we gist. Both of us we gist. Sometimes we stay late at night, we talk to each other. My sister made this cap for me. She made it. And our plan was that when school closed, we would tell our father want to enter a business making cap because people say they love the cap.
CCTV footage around the neighborhood captured Favor being led to a tricycle by a stranger accompanied by our teenage friend. Days after, the friend's family reportedly moved out of the neighborhood, raising suspicions about their involvement in Favor's disappearance.
They have codedly moved away from the environment.
Are you suspecting anything with this?
Of course. Everybody around me is a suspect. How much more? The one whose daughter was captured in a CCTV camera that lured my daughter away from the compound.
In another twist, an unknown number contacted the Oluwaseyis, claiming to be Favor's abductor and demanding a ransom for our release.
I have to call somebody to buy my machine so that I can get money. We gather the money together, we give them. They not release my daughter.
It's the murder she won.
With disappointment, Favor's father explained how he sent the contact information of the alleged kidnapper to the anti-kidnapping unit in Port Harcourt. Shockingly, investigations traced the kidnapper's mobile number to the Enugu State Correctional Center, suggesting possible inside involvement.
He sent an account details. We made a ransom payment to that same account, of which we have tracked the number to Enugu Correctional Center. And to my greatest surprise, on the 20th of April 2024, I discovered and I saw that the PRO of the Nigeria Correctional Center, the person of Abubakar, can speedily responded and debunk such a very strong allegation in the prison custody Enugu, and claiming that such thing never happened, claiming that nobody bears such name in that prison, claiming that we never visited the Enugu Correctional Center, of which I have every evidence, I have every proof, I have the picture of the suspected criminal who collected a ransom from me on behalf of my kidnapped daughter, Favor Oluwatofumi Oluwaseyi.
Cases of missing persons is becoming one too many in Port Harcourt that the civil society organizations are now wading in.
We challenge the Nigerian Correctional Service to 1, conduct an immediate, open and thorough investigation into these allegations. 2, make public the visit register for December 4th, 2024 to verify the claim that the victim's father, accompanied by police officers from Rivers State, visited the Enugu Correctional Facility. 3, provide concrete evidence to support their denial to demonstrate transparency and accountability. 4, according to the father, to favor Oluwaseyi, the real name of the suspect at the Enugu Correctional Service is Chidiebere Chikeze, aka Chiboy. We stand by this statement until otherwise proven. The public deserves to know the truth. An open probe and release of relevant records will help bring those responsible to justice.
Step into this matter.
For the Oluwaseyis, every means within their reach has been explored without positive results, and they are now urging the media to help get their voices heard.
Please, Federal Republic of Nigeria, our own president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please, Kayode Egbetokun, Inspector General of Police, please, the acting controller general of the prison correctional center, we are begging all of you. Olubunmi Ojo, the Minister of Interior, we are pleading, we are begging you.
We are begging you.
We are begging this Commissioner of Police of Rivers State, Olubenga Adepoju, we are pleading, we are appealing, we are begging the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. Please, we beg all of you, swing into action.
This is my daughter.
Like the Oluwaseyi family, several families living in Rivers State have been through similar circumstances. Many have, however, blamed the spate of kidnappings on poor security architecture and negligence on the part of government.
Good afternoon.
In Port Harcourt, Rivers State, for News Central, Biola Festus.
Let's hear the story of your...
Very sad story again. This time, one that you've seen, which would ordinarily get you worried as usual. But then again, Biola Festus has done a very fantastic job unearthing some of these details in that story of the missing child. The parents you saw there as well, and her sister, talking about needing help from the federal government to follow the case to the later. We hope and we keep our fingers crossed that this will be done. Bing, I don't know what your thoughts are.
I mean, it's really heart-wrenching. No parent deserves to go through what the Oluwaseyis have been through in the last year and a half. It's really, really terrible. And also, the authorities should be forthcoming. I mean, it's bad enough that parents have lost their daughter to the hands of kidnappers. And then when they bring forth information, like, okay, ransom payment was paid to this number, when you confront authority with this, what you need is them to get all the help necessary, all hands to be on deck. But you find a situation where there are denials, the Enugu State Correctional Facility, for example, and it's just, it adds to their pain. These parents need closure, and the family, they need to know the state of their daughter, if what's going on with her, if it's still possible. And it doesn't need to get to the head of the presidency. You heard the father there appealing to everyone who has some sort of power to do something. But my positive, the hope for me in this situation is that the coalition of civil society organizations in Rivers State is now involved in this case, and they will see to it that justice is served. And of course, by having Biola Festus and Rivers State, our correspondent, she will continue to monitor the situation and have a pulse on this issue. So we follow up and will not stop talking about it until justice is served.
I agree with you, Binga. The pain, the anguish, the sleepless nights from the parents, the part where she said she had to just take her clothes and wash them. You keep washing and you just try to imagine what life would be like if she was part of the family, the trauma as well that comes with it. Our sympathy goes to the family of the Oluwaseis, and we hope that definitely respite would come, and hopefully those in the power would definitely swing into action. But let's quickly also remind you that the North Central Zone of the People's Democratic Party is actually in the news. Now, they say the opposition party is now determined more than ever before to rebuild and forge ahead. The chairman of the North Central Zone of the party, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, gave the charge at the just concluded delegates conference in Plateau State ahead of the 2027 general elections. New Central's Chizoba Nyonwe reports that members vow to unite and boast of wresting power from the ruling All Progressives Congress come 2027.
The North Central will continue to thrive, will continue to work stronger and stronger, will continue to remain steadfast. Democracy has come to stay in Nigeria, and I am sure that the North Central part of Nigeria will continue to play the significant role it has always played in the evolution of democracy in this country.
I want to use this medium to call on those at the other side, sitting on the fence, who may be thinking of defection to another political parties, to rethink their action, because there is no other political party in Nigeria that practices true democracy as PDP.
We have seen how things have been going down the ladder in terms of elections and in terms of governance. And we need, even if for any reason we can't make it this coming elections, at least we should be organized enough to ensure that by 2031 that PDP is back to make sure that Nigeria becomes great again.
Okay, you're watching Breakfast Central here on New Central Television. If you're just joining, let's give you a recap of the top stories we've shared with you today. This morning, we did talk about Ijaw and Urhobo communities required delays in the INEC delineation exercise. We also shared the sad story of 12-year-old family accuses police of complicity in a kidnapping. And North Central PDP members elect officials ahead of 2027 polls. Coming up next on Breakfast Central this morning, FCT Minister pulls out a peace deal. Ijaw and Urhobo communities require delays in INEC delineation exercise, and Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Gambia present country report. Please stay with us. Breakfast Central continues shortly.
Good to have you join us here on Breakfast Central, the second hour, going full throttle. The political crisis within Nigeria's People's Democratic Party appears to have taken a new turn, with the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, officially pulling out of all agreements within the PDP, citing breaches of trust and dishonesty among key party figures in the political party. Former Governor, now FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, vowed to fight on until justice is attained.
He's pointing fingers at Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, calling him the chief architect of the party's internal crisis. It doesn't stop there, as Wike also accused Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah, of colluding to undermine agreements reached in reconciliation meetings. He claims that despite efforts to stabilize the party, dishonesty and treachery continue to derail its progress. It would seem that the PDP is not yet out of the woods in its drama. This meeting has further unveiled the fact that, there might not be any settlement in the nearest future. Wike is backed by Governors Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State, Ahmed Fintiri of Taraba, and others, and is angered that decisions made by the NWC and the PDP governors from largely influenced by Governor Makinde and Mba, as well as Bala Mohammed Bauchi, undermine the political structure of the minister of the FCT. So again, somehow this just tells us that the PDP is not yet out of the woods when it comes to the drama.
Yeah, and the natural question that comes to me is how does he know this information about the people he's suspecting to be behind the accusations he's labeling? It's just so messy at this point, and I wonder if they will ever be able to solve it. And when you're in a situation where you don't like the party, you don't like the things that are happening, you are fighting one person or the other, I think the best thing for you is to leave. I mean, and kudos to Malam Nasir El-Rufai. He can't be a hypocrite. He's been critical of the APC. He doesn't like the direction the party has gone. And he did what every honorable person would do, is you tender your resignation. I don't belong here. If you've tried to fix things, they're trying to fix it, they're having peace meetings, and all you do is just one accusation or the other. And I'm not saying your reasoning is not justified. It's just that it's dragged on for too long, it's too messy. What will it take for you to just resign? After all, you're a minister in the APC government, and you seem to be very okay with them. So join their fold and let these people be. But I don't know, maybe it's still part of the politicking to have him remain in PDP.
You've highlighted it, you've said it all. It's quite worrisome because you do have an FCT minister who is hobnobbing with the APC, and he seems to be doing pretty fine. I mean, Abuja, his works are shown for it. But it seems like he's still trying to hold on to the tenets and, of course, the cliff of the PDP not wanting to let go because of political structure that was put in place. Today, we do hear that there's going to be a BOT meeting in Abuja. They're going to meet today to discuss further. It also is an indictment, and it puts, stain on the former Senate President Bukola Saraki, who was, entitled, who was pushed, who was saddled, rather, with the responsibility to put the party together, bring everyone together, ensure that it works for the good of the political structure of the party. But you see, it's funny because you have a former Senate President who was called to mend the entire party. And a former governor, too. And a former governor as well. Now you have the FCT minister who, a few weeks ago, we saw him walk into, the meeting that was held in Abuja as well. And then all of a sudden, it's not working. He comes back out just this weekend to say, you know what, the peace deal is not going to work. I think could be possibly due to the negotiations that were put on the table. Maybe it didn't favor him, or maybe it favored him, but he's pointing fingers at two persons. One is pointing fingers at the Enugu State Governor, Mr. Peter Mba, saying that Mr. Peter Mba is responsible for negotiation not working. And then there's a very popular person as well in the party who has come out to say, whether we like it or not, he's going to run for president.
Governor Seyi Makinde.
Of course.
Yes.
And he's saying that Governor Seyi Makinde and Peter Mba are the problem that's led to him not
what does he want?
So we're back again to the table.
So I think part of the disagreement as well is about this leadership of the People's Democratic Party between Senator Samuel Anyanwu and Ude Okoye. So Wike would seem to have thrown his support behind Senator Samuel Anyanwu, saying that, and they reached some sort of an agreement at Bukola Saraki's residence. However, what's his name, the G5, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, on the other hand, seems to be in support of Ude Okoye. And they had said that, if the Deputy National Secretary of the party is not installed as National Secretary of the party, they will pull out of the agreement. So it would seem that there's a disagreement in that regard. And it's quite interesting to see because Governor Seyi Makinde and former Governor Nyesom Wike used to be members of the G5. They were the strong leading force in the People's Democratic Party, and now things have turned out quite differently between them.
These are internal machinations of the People's Democratic Party. I don't think the ordinary Nigerians do care about this, but in the sense that, PDP is one of the biggest parties in Nigeria, and if it doesn't get its house in order, it means it will just be a walk through for the APC in 2027. But let's see how things turn out.
It will.
Time will reveal as the days go by.
But there's also threat if the meeting would hold tomorrow, which is the National Executive Committee meeting. There are worries, and that will be the 99th. If it's going to happen tomorrow. If it's going to happen, you already have a broken political party, or I would say a divided political party.
Is it possible for them to move on without the involvement of the FCT minister?
No, he has such a strong hold on the People's Democratic
we've had
Party.
guests.
What's his position?
Well,
what's his
he's a leader. He's a key leader in the party. Obviously, has a lot of influence, has set up structures.
Exactly.
That's why he was upset with his structures being, dismantled.
Maybe that's why he can't leave the party.
We also saw the contributions he made at the last elections to the current administration, to the ruling party. He was some sort of a strong force in support and delivered to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So he is, I mean, like some of the people said here, some of our guests have said that he does have the support of the president.
When President Tinubu didn't win his home state, we have to remember that.
Yeah.
So he must have done a very yeoman's job to have delivered that. But he's been rewarded with the ministerial position. Is that not enough?
The conversations are more, but hopefully we should be having a PDP chieftain join us on this conversation to see, especially from tomorrow when they will be expecting to go into the NEC meeting and see what will come out of that. But two governors have been pointed or fingered at causing the rift and the disagreements between the FCT minister having to resolve the challenges and issues. And it's also funny, guys, that while all of this is happening, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar was busy somewhere working on coalitions. And you wonder, okay, this coalition. So for me, it also shows the body language of the former vice president is starting to look like he may not also be there with the PDP in the next few months to come when announcements are being made.
Obviously.
Yes, because there's no statements about, this political party.
And it's almost like he's doing his own thing.
Exactly, like he's doing his own thing. Like, you know what, keep fighting. I'm just going to move on.
We've not heard from the SDP camp in a while. Maybe they're strategizing.
We also, I did read an article on the SDP as last week that they will be looking at working with the SDP and working with AD to see how they could, join forces as well to form that formidable force, that strong force. So, trust me, the SDP is the beautiful bride now. Everybody wants to rush to the SDP because it's stainless, it's clean,
no factionalization.
No factionalization.
We did have
the... Yes, it's a beautiful bride now. I mean, the PDP.
I'm not sure about people going there, but I will talk about I'm sure about the peaceful conduct. And
that's what I'm saying. She's attractive. Let's put a caveat to it.
Yeah, but not necessary. I mean, you could be attractive. You could be a very nice party, but how much power or influence do you have? Can you win elections, or you're just a party for the sake of party?
Let me say like,
because these ones that are fighting, they have numbers.
Let me say like my Ghanaian friends will say, Charlie, Winga, remember that the Labour Party had been in existence for a while.
True.
Few months to the general elections in 2023, they had someone who joined them and took their party from a certain level to the highest level that they have ever themselves seen before. That is Mr. Peter Obi.
He got 6 million votes,
provided the SDP is a party that, like I said, stainless, in quotes, as it were now, like many have said, it's, for me, like I rightly say again, it's a beautiful bride. It has all the possibilities of becoming what Labour Party was in 2023, because the same Labour Party that we're talking about now, what's happening to it? It's in shambles. So every politician is now turning towards looking for a political party to ride on.
For the primaries to happen.
So what do? You look for the one that is...
The fighting starts after primaries. I don't like this, the way it was conducted. It wasn't free and fair. Give me the money, but refund my form money. Exactly. Refund my form money and things like that. I mean, who thought the local government guys in Lagos State would...
Well, we're not quite sure.
How do you collect money from people and then you say we've reached consensus. You don't want to give me back my money. We'll fight.
But I don't think that there's really no issue completely with the SDP. For example, we've had Mr. Adebayo talk about how defectors need to be careful. They're not coming to overtake the party. Nasir El-Rufai's defection to the SDP also stirred a lot of those people thinking, you know, what's the political agenda behind all of this. They also had issues at the 2023 election with the political candidate, I've forgotten his name, the political candidate that they fielded in 2023 general election in Kogi State, that, you know, there was some sort of controversy in that regard. They might not have as much controversy as other political parties.
Exactly.
But I don't think that they're without drama within themselves. But again, I guess time will tell. Let's now take this conversation from politics. You want to say something?
Yes, another party that doesn't have, that is a beautiful bride, that doesn't have scandals is the Zenith Labour Party.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are many. You do have Zenith.
There's also Boots Party.
Boots Party. Yes, Boots Party.
That's their logo. If that Boots should kick you, you'll be sorry for yourself. So there are many parties out there. So it's what you can do with the party that is the issue.
Okay. Let's move away from political parties
are shopping for parties
and the drama going on. We, of course, will be waiting for the 99th NEC meeting that's scheduled to hold tomorrow, the 27th of May, to find out what the next steps are for the People's Democratic Party, if they've resolved their leadership issues, if we're looking at Ude Okoye, or are we following the Supreme Court judgment regarding Senator Samuel Anyanwu. So just different layers to the conversation that will be unfolding in the coming hours. But the Academic Staff Union of Universities has given a stern warning to Nigeria's federal government over unresolved issues in its 2009 agreement, which has continued to remain unattended to. The president of the union, Chris Piwuna, spoke to newsmen in Abuja, saying that though the agreement was renegotiated in 2017, the federal government is yet to fulfill its commitments, and they needed to avert future strikes by lecturers. Amadine Uyi compiles this report. Let's take a look.
The Academic Staff Union had once again expressed its displeasure over government attitude towards agreements reached with the union in the past. The president of ASU, Chris Piwuna, spoke to newsmen in Abuja, saying that the union has been waiting for the last 12 months and has not seen any display of commitment from the federal government.
For us in ASU, this is an engagement that started in 2017. We're talking about engagement on one issue, that is the agreement, 2009 agreement, renegotiated for 8 years. So to us, it's not about just the Yahya Ahmed. Yes, we think that the Yahya Ahmed committee has worked hard and that we have finished the work with them and that we need to hear from them. We haven't heard from them, but we have delayed for almost a year and these problems are still outstanding. And when we finally take an action because we're tired of waiting, all that unfortunately Nigerians see is that ASU is again on strike.
Piwuna also criticized the student loan scheme for university undergraduate, saying it does not fulfill commitment made to students.
ASU has made its position very clear. If the goal of government is to take the burden off students, if the goal of government is to inject more funds into the universities through all of these charges, they can give it as a grant. They can offer as grants to students, scholarships. Why loan?
The union is calling on the Yahya Ahmed Committee, which renegotiated the agreement, to revisit their commitment, saying that their members have run out of patience. They say this is necessary to avoid a strike by lecturers.
Back to Breakfast Central. Political parties have concluded the primaries for the governorship elections in Anambra State, but the fallout appears to be far from over. Allegations of irregularities, political maneuvering, and a fierce battle for the APC ticket has set the stage for the high-stakes elections.
Now, at the center of it all is Governor Charles Soludo, whose re-election bid faces these challenges. We're joined this morning by the former Anambra State APC governorship aspirant, Dr. Onyeka Yongwafo. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
You're welcome.
All right. As a former aspirant yourself, so I'm going to ask you to give us your perspective on how the primaries were conducted first, as a son of the soil, as an Anambra citizen, and then secondly, as someone who was also an aspirant for that position.
Well, first of all, the primaries of APC was free and fair. It was televised on the television. People saw where people voted, and Prince Nicholas Okachukwu was declared the winner. So it is something that was not shoddy. It's not something that was done behind. It's something that was transparent from the onset when the party decided to sell the form, the delegate form and everything. So it is 100% transparent, the party primary.
Okay, well, where were the allegations of irregularities then coming from?
You should understand there will always be an allegation. This is a political party. Even if primary is probably conducted by the most reverend holy person in Nigeria, somebody must say that he was just changed. So the allegations have not been proven. You know, when you solve allegation, you bring out facts. That is what is allegation.
So are you saying that Mr. Valentino Sibo, who had made certain mentions about it not being free and fair, he talked about him not being satisfied with the results, are you saying that these words or allegations are not true?
But Valentine has his own personal opinion. You know, he might be talking from different angle. But as I said, these primaries were televised. He was sitting down there. Prince Okachukwu was sitting down there. Every other person was in that hall. The chairman of the electoral primary electoral committee, which the governor of Cross River, was sitting down there. These things were aired till wee hours of the morning when a winner emerged. You know, these are delegates. So the delegates voted for who they wanted to vote for.
Okay, so what's the state of the APC in Anambra State as we speak now, as we inch towards the November elections? Are they united? Are they speaking from a united front, and do they have what it takes to wrestle power from the incumbent, Governor Charles Soludo?
Yes, first and foremost, APC will take over the government in Anambra State come November.
You sound very confident.
Yes, very, 100%. Because let me tell you
that confidence.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell you. You see, the person that won the governorship primary, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu, is a man that has character. He's a man that has helped people. He's a man that brought down his business acumen. He's the first person that set up an industry in Anambra that employed 5,000 people in Anambra. So it should show you that this man is rooted. This man is grounded. And Prince Nicholas Okachukwu is not a baby politician. He has been into politics. He has people in all the wards, in all the local government. Hold on. And again, the problem in APC, whatever they tend people see to be problem, maybe it's the people that disagreed. In the wisdom of the national chairman of the party, he set up a reconciliation committee that is being headed by another governorship aspirant, John Bosco. John Bosco was in that primary, and if John Bosco can agree to go and reconcile other people, that means there is no problem. It shows you that the house is together. And again, the party made the best decision to bring a deputy governorship candidate in the person of Senator Uche Ekwunife. You should look at people's character. Senator Uche Ekwunife has been in the House of Rep, has been in the Senate, and there are track records of projects she brought. And you see, Anambra has 3 senatorial districts: Anambra South, Anambra North, and Anambra Central. The Governor Charles Soludo is from the same place with Prince Nicholas Okachukwu. And before now, we knew nothing about Governor Charles Soludo, apart from he was a former CBN governor. But Okachukwu has been someone from 1999, when he was even in House of Rep representing Abuja, has started touching lives of people in Anambra, has empowered people. And then you got to see Senator Uche Ekwunife, who from banking sector came into the politics, touched life, and rose to the point of going to Senate. Go to Anambra Central today and ask her. You see, the deputy governorship aspirant of Anambra in APC is a one-woman mobilizer. It will be very difficult for them to win for Governor Charles Soludo to return back.
Okay, we'll come back to talking about Governor Charles Soludo, but let's talk about Okachukwu, who has, of course, become the flag bearer for the party. ABGA has, of course, shared their perspective to this as well. We have the Chinedu Obigwe, who's the national coordinator of the Abuja Media Warriors Forum, he made allegations about Ukachukwu having influenced and manipulated the decision of the APC primaries. He stated that he bribed politicians and with houses and millions of dollars. Talked about him having made church visits and how these church visits were not with good intent. It was some sort of political manipulation. I know you're not the official spokesperson of the APC, but how would you respond to these allegations, and why do you think he's particularly interested in this?
Thank God you said it's an allegation. It's not verified. It's not proven. And it's coming from someone that called, what do you call his name? He said Abuja whatever. So what do you expect?
Media warrior.
The first question you have to ask him, did he follow enable Kachukwu to go and give somebody money? Was he present to have the Prince Nicholas Kachukwu donated houses to anybody? These are speculation, allegations. And I don't expect him to say anything good. I expect him to even come to more damaging stories now. Because, see, these primaries were transparent. It was an open contest. If they said Prince Nicholas Kachukwu bought it, they should be able to say who collected this, how much the person was giving. Say, this is simple. If I say today that somebody took bribe of 1 billion, I should be able to say who the 1 billion was given to. If I say you have collected $100,000 US, I should be able to say who you gave the money. The Prince Nicholas Kachukwu, I know, will not do such a thing. It's as simple. The man went and campaigned, sold his manifesto. As I was selling my own, he was selling his own. Every other person we are selling his manifesto to the people and to the leaders of the party. So the people he sold the manifesto felt okay that this is a man we need to hand over this ticket to.
Does it concern the APC that Governor Charles Soludo seems to have, been in alliance with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration? We've seen him speaking so positively about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and many assume that there's an alliance of some sort, even though they're from different political parties.
First, you see, you must not remove something. The president is the father of the country, and Governor Charles Soludo is one of the president's children. So, but it does not mean that the president is a member of APC. You see, if I want to bring the relationship of Governor Charles Soludo and the president, I will take it to be a cousin. Maybe you know how you have cousins, niece and nephew and so on and so forth. That's his category. That is saying, okay, saying he's aligning with the president. My dad, the president has done so much. The governor of Delta State moved from PDP to APC. Is it not showing you that it is because of what the president is doing that is aligning, not because of 2025.
You genuinely believe what you just said?
I genuinely believe there is nothing. Let's see. This statement has been flying over the media, deceiving people. He's aligning with the president, blah, blah, blah. The president is the father of the country. What he has done is it's obvious for you to align.
You know why I'm asking if you genuinely believe? Because we've seen citizens push back on the defections that have been happening. You're saying that the reason they're defecting is because they've seen what the president is doing. A number of them, the reasons they give for their defections to the All Progressive Congress is that they want to be aligned with the center as they think it will benefit citizens. But we've seen a huge pushback on that from a number of Nigerians who would say that it's more about selfish political interest and the possibility of seeing the APC as the political party in power and a vehicle for them to achieve their own personal ambitions.
They say, thank God you say people are saying, it's only he who wears the shoe knows where his pin shows him. Until you become a governor of a state, you will now understand the reason why you have to align. See, if you don't align, how do you attract some things? Whether you call it for their political, selfish, whatever, the point is, what is the end result of it? Will this state be able to benefit more funds for the federal government? Will they be, okay, see, there was a statement one time that was made, I can't even remember, but the statement that was made by the governor, it was talking about this party and Abuja and people in the House of Assembly, what. See, the people that is going to APC today are going because they have seen it. It is normal. Why are those people not going to Labour Party? Why are they not going to PDP? Why are those governors not going to SDP?
Maybe they're not in power, that's why.
So it's not, I don't even see, we are there first. These things are people who sat down, saw it, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's work is so clear. Even the blind can see it.
Can you share some?
What are the works?
So you can even take the coastal road. You can even check the student loan. Before there was nothing like student loan.
Coastal road is 30 kilometers of 700 kilometers that has been completed.
It's still ongoing.
You can't.
See, when you say the question is, no, you have to. Because what you check is somebody's antecedents to start with. Where is this person moving to? What's this person like? Say, if President Bola Tinubu has nothing to show, people will not move. Today, people can go as far as getting loans, schools.
Are they moving because of the works, or they're moving because of closeness to the center and also some sort of immunity? Because there's a track record of people that we've seen that have cases with the EFCC, and once they move to the ruling party,
your sins are forgiven.
Your sins are forgiven.
The EFCC has been quiet.
They use deodorant for your sins instead of insecticide.
Okay, they have moved. They have cases in EFCC. My question to you is that, have the case ended? Did the EFCC go to withdraw the case? As I'm talking to you, you know that EFCC went to appeal the case of Senator Ojo Okalo. He's not a member of the party. Is he not in court? So this is not the reason why they are moving. The reason why they are moving is that the blind can see what the president is doing.
What is it? You know, sometimes when we say the president is doing, what happens to, what are you going to say about the economy? The naira, the depreciation of the naira,
the cost of living
against the dollar, the cost of living. I mean, sometimes I know from a political aspect we might speak because maybe we speak as politicians. But let's speak as the average Nigerian who's watching this program now. The cost of school fees, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you support people with school fees and also pay. Is it the same price what we paid a few months ago or 2 years back? It has gone up. Fuel, filling your car is not the same. The cost of spare parts in vehicles have gone up. I'm sure you're also aware of the issues we have, especially with the what's it called? When you try as much as possible to importation. The prices, the tariffs, they've gone up. Let's talk about power. It has gone up. So when we say we've seen what he has done, and we have guests who say that, we would like you to please put it vis-a-vis with the current situation.
The current reality.
No fund, yes, is one. We've talked about, you've mentioned, what's it called again?
Highway.
The coastal highway. It's one. What else? How does it affect Anifeanyi now, who is in Anambra, who cannot pay his son's school fees that has gone up all of a sudden?
See, the president, you see, part of the president policies are long-term policies. But Nigeria always wants short-term policy. See, the children of Israel, even were in the 40 days and before they could get to where they are going to. Sometimes a journey that profit takes time. We all have to make sacrifice in this country. Subsidy removal is one step the president took. The state governments are now getting more allocation. Before it wasn't like that. So you see, I understand there are challenges. Everybody is seeing it. But from the way we are going to, we'll soon be out of this. You know, dollar has not been steady. It has gone this way. Going to show you that soon as bag of rice have come down. Go to the market and check it. It wasn't like that before.
Should we celebrate that as part of the achievement?
Yes, we should celebrate that, because if the rice was being sold by 150, Nigerians will still be saying is 150. See, just give this administration the next 1 year and see what will happen. He's just marking 2 years. You're seeing what is going on. Let's just push it to the next 1 year. When the president has more staff, you know, you can agree with me that more roads has been done. The other day at the APC summit, when the National Security Advisor was rolling out what the armed forces have done, I was shocked. You know, the only thing we hear in the media is one attack, it will be all over. But when there are success, bandit killed, this thing destroyed, so on and so forth, sometimes those things are not sure. This government, this government have done a lot.
Okay.
In as much all as, you know, Rome was not built in a day. This thing will still take some time. But maybe the children that is going to come will one day say, yes, if it's not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we will not be what we are receiving today.
Now let's go back to Anambra State elections. We do understand what the power of incumbency has in Nigeria and how powerful it is. Governor Charles Soludo has spent 4 years, has done some laudable projects, and he has the bragging rights because he could show his workings and say, look, this is what I did in the last 4 years. Your principal doesn't have that luxury to show, okay, this is what I've done in governance so far. He's been MD of government parastatal, but this is beyond that. This is governing a state, and you know, he has his structures. So how does he plan to win an incumbent in a governorship election?
Okay, first, this election that is going to take place in Anambra in November is not about APC. It's not about ABGA. It's not about PDP. It's about the people of Anambra. And the people of Anambra are the people that will decide who will govern them. Let me tell you, I don't know the bargaining rights you have been talking about Governor Charles Soludo. Is it the government house that he commissioned, a wasted project? As long as I'm concerned, Anambra doesn't need to go and do that with that money. There are lives, there are lives that needed to be lifted out of poverty. The government house is using before now, is it leaking? Is the building dilapidated? Is it not the one Obiano used and built an airport? That airport today is the reason investors are still coming into Anambra. So you see, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu has things to show. Prince Nicholas Okachukwu has touched lives. Don't be deceived. People are not happy with Governor Charles Soludo. Like, let me tell you, I'm sitting down here today. In his administration of getting to 4 years, I have lost four close relations. All of them were shot, and they are dead. So you see, someone like me will not even cast my vote for him. And all the family members of those people that has been kidnapped in Anambra killed. We don't vote for Governor Charles Soludo. Let's not deceive ourselves. We are talking of vote. It's not about ABGA. The election in Anambra is about the people. So remove political party.
Okay, if we remove political party and talk about the people, there's still a large support for his predecessor, His Excellency Governor Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State. There's a huge support for him in the southeast of the country. What would you say is Peter Obi's influence, or is he a core concern for the APC in Anambra State as we inch closer to the elections?
His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, number one, I don't know the party he is in now. I don't know, he has not declared support for anybody. But let me tell you, even if that is done, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu will still defeat, mark today's word down, he will still defeat every other person in this race. Even Governor Charles Soludo and his deputy, even the PDP candidate, even the Labour Party candidate, I am telling you for sure. Because he is grounded. His deputy, Senator Chekunife, is also grounded. We are talking about people that has followers. See, you can assess Governor Charles Soludo because he's a governor. Assess him when he finishes office. Let's know his value in Anambra State. You are talking of a man who, in the position he has held, was in 1999, and today is still very relevant. He has been in ABGA. Uche Kunifa has been in ABGA before. You are aware. These people know this party very well now. You understand? These people are people who have been on ground. And it's easy for APC because APC is totally on ground. And imagine when a party is on ground and they are not in government. We are not in control of Anambra. But all the wards, everywhere, APC is on ground. And you see, people are looking at the man they gave the ticket, not just about the party. And you have these people that will say what the president have done, we will support. Okay. So definitely, this is a walkover.
Let's talk about you a bit. You also were a former aspirant for governorship in Anambra State. What changed your mind?
There are so many reasons, which I may not want to relay out here.
No, you have to.
You have to relay. Because you came here and you were telling us what
all the way from Anambra State.
If you got into office and how you would be able to deal with the sit-at-home situation, which is a core concern. So
okay. Well, see here. As I said, people sell their manifesto. So probably maybe manifestos still sold by Prince Nicholas Okachukwu was also acceptable to me. That might be part of the reason. And again, as I said, governing Anambra is not a selfish thing. It's the progress of the state. It doesn't matter.
But you were an aspirant.
Yes.
You've gone beyond an aspirant to, okay, fine, he won the primaries, you stepped down. You are now fiercely campaigning for him. Is there more than Mr. I? Is there any other interest in this campaign, or is just your love for his manifesto and for the good of the people of Anambra State?
First of all, it's for the good of Anambra State. Not even, see, the good of Anambra State, secondly, for my party. Because Anambra is all what we are talking about. If Prince Nicholas Chukwu does not have what it takes to change Anambra, I won't campaign for him. By the way, I'm not, I can be in the party, I will not talk about him. If they did not bring someone like Senator Kachukwu, Senator Uche Kunife as his deputy, I know who these two great individuals are. I won't talk about them. Remember, there are people in APC. Wait, remember there are people in APC.
No, Valentine Ezimbo doesn't agree with this statement of yours.
That's what it's his view now. You know, he has his own view. He's a human being.
Okay.
Everybody, remember, it's not everybody in APC. Remember there was a time someone in APC said they will not campaign for the president. Did they resign for the party? Will he make the president to lose the election? No, it's Nigerians. This is one against millions.
If Mr. Okachukwu ends up winning these governorship elections in Anambra State and he gives you a political appointment, will you accept it?
I'm not even looking for political appointments. Let's not even go there.
Well,
I'm not thinking of that.
No, but now you can think about it. Will you accept?
No, I can only offer, say, if he brings a political appointment and my people says, take it, my people, remember, I will.
So
by your people, do you mean your political
constituents?
No, my constituents, my people, the people I listen to. If they say take it, so you can help him to.
Did you consult them before you?
Yes, I did.
Before you dropped your?
Yes, I did.
Yes,
I did. I consulted them. If my people say you need to help in him achieving his plans for Anambra, who am I will.
There are camps who believe that the reason you did not pursue this is because you realized you did not have the popularity to influence winning the elections, and so the easier thing for you to do was to step down, canvass for who seemingly had the popularity, and hope that you would maybe eventually get some reward.
No. I said the reason why is because manifestos were sold. And I looked at this, and I felt Prince Nicholas should be given the chance. I didn't have any discussion with him.
You did not believe in
No, let me tell you, I didn't have any discussion with him, even before stepping down. There was no prior discussion with him. No, I said my people. When you talk of my people, even without anybody, there's no prior, because I believe it's Anambra we are talking about. What has happened in the back has happened in the back. What we're interested in is seeing this state move out from what it is now. Insecurity needs to end. You can imagine. Just last week, a lawyer that was coming out from court was shot. The lawyer and the client was killed. Now.
So again, going back to what I asked, did you believe in your manifesto?
Yes, 100%. I believed in my manifesto, but let me tell you, you could remember, even when the president was campaigning, people stepped down for the president. You couldn't say they didn't believe in their manifesto. They have reasons why they did that. Today, they are seeing what the president is doing. I don't think they took. So let's give this man a chance to become the governor.
I get your point. Sorry to butt in, but you've said that Abga has not done anything. But President Tinubu was there in Anambra, and he also joined in commissioning the new government house. And then there's Solution Fund City, which the governor has also, created, and not forgetting to the lodge. I mean, aren't those wonderful things that he has created?
I will throw the question back to you. If you, as you're working in this station, and your salary is 1 million naira, and your children goes to the school where teachers are not there, and for example, your salary has been increased to 5 million, and your wife gets to you and say, we need to change these children from this school, and you refuse, have you done something for your children? When you are now earning 5 million, more money to pay for. Let's see, Governor Charles Soludo has collected more than money right now than other governors. If you say project he has done, my question is, what is the value of other projects done by the previous governors?
Yeah, but what was the value of the naira under Buhari?
No, let's not.
You need to factor in inflation.
No.
Because, I mean, by the figures, it looks higher, but the true value of the money might not be higher.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
Airport in Anambra, which was brought by his predecessor, is one laudable project. One laudable. You know, when I say even the blind can see, it's one project today. I am not a member of his party, but you know one thing I will not deny, that Willie did something. Willie built roads. Willie did flyovers. Willie even did more and even did airport. The question is, in 4 years. In 4 years. The question will be...
Former Governor Obiano.
Yes, the question will be, what has Governor Charles Soludo done You know the money he has collected, do you know what it means to put up an airport? Which of his projects, if you calculate it together, can be calculated to that airport? See, I don't want to know the value of dollar. This is not what I'm talking of the project. Let it show us one laudable thing. The other day, do you know people are going, poverty is increasing, unemployment is increasing in Anambra day by day. I've not seen how this government has been able to solve this particular issue. Okay. So get my point. I don't have any problem with Governor Charles Soludo. My problem is the style of leadership.
All right.
We can't continue this way. It is my state.
At the end of the day, Abga has had, Anambra is Abga's political stronghold. They've had Anambra in, for years now. So it will be interesting to see what the APC will do differently to be able to unseat Abga as a political party, because we talk about individuals, but we can't also ignore the fact that Nigeria runs politics through the vehicle and machinery of political parties. Else we wouldn't have been seeing people defecting to the All Progressives Congress. So I guess in the coming months, we'll see what the APC will bring differently to the table to convince Anambra that maybe it is time for Abga to go home. Thank you so much, Doctor.
We look forward to having you back.
Thank you. You will see it. In short, you get invitation of the inauguration by the time the APC wins.
Okay, fingers crossed. We'll be happy to come. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. There are more conversations that we have, but let's quickly go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be bringing more for you. Stay with us. Welcome to Breakfast Headlines. We begin with Abuja land revocation, where the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, along with 4,793 other properties, is expected to be sealed today, Monday, the 26th of May, following a directive issued last Friday by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The ownership of these properties was revoked by the Federal Capital Territory Administration in March 2025. In a statement, the FCT Minister's Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media, Lere Olayinka, explained that access to the affected properties will be restricted starting Monday. He added that the FCTA will determine the future of the sealed properties in due course. And now talking politics, the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has blamed the crisis in the People's Democratic Party on non-adherence to agreements. He said all parties must honor decisions, including recognizing Senator Samuel Anyanwu as National Secretary and withdrawing legal actions on Rivers State. Wike has withdrawn from all previous agreements and vowed to keep fighting for justice. He added that he had helped many governors win elections without asking for anything in return. Still talking politics in the PDP, the North Central Zone of the People's Democratic Party says the opposition party is now determined more than ever to rebuild and forge ahead. The chairman of the North Central Zone of the party, Abdulrahman Mohammed, gave the charge at the just concluded delegates conference in Plateau State ahead of the 2027 general elections. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe reports that members vowed to unite and boast of wrestling power from the ruling All Progressives Congress come 2027.
North Central will continue to thrive. Will continue to work stronger and stronger, will continue to remain steadfast. Democracy has come to stay in Nigeria, and I am sure that the North Central part of Nigeria will continue to play the significant role it has always played in the evolution of democracy in this country.
I want to use this medium to call on those at the other side, sitting on the fence, who may be thinking of defection to another political parties, to rethink their action, because there's no other political party in Nigeria that practices true democracy as PDP.
We have seen how things have been going down the ladder in terms of elections and in terms of governance. And we need, even if for any reason we can't make it these coming elections, at least we should be organized enough to ensure that by 2031 the PDP is back to make sure that Nigeria becomes great again.
And now to education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced the release of results for the rescheduled 2025 UTME exams, specifically for candidates affected by earlier disruptions. In a strong stance against examination malpractice, JAMB has blacklisted several CBT centers and initiated prosecutions against those involved. Additionally, as a one-time concession, results for underage candidates and those associated with WhatsApp runs have been released. However, these candidates remain ineligible for admission. Meanwhile, of the 336,845 candidates expected to sit, more than 21,000 were absent. The absentees will be given another opportunity to write the exam in a mop-up exercise. And now, Uganda's military has suspended all defense and military cooperation with Germany, accusing German Ambassador Matthias Schauer of engaging in subversive activities aimed at destabilizing the country. Uganda's People Defense Force, UPDF, cited credible intelligence linking the ambassador to hostile political military groups opposing the government ahead of next year's elections. The suspension will remain until the issue is fully resolved. This marks a serious diplomatic rift following allegations that some European diplomats support opposition groups. The German embassy has yet to comment. And that's all that we have this morning on Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us. I am Olive MOD. Remember that you may send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media as we are at News Central TV on all social media platforms. We'll now connect back with Breakfast Central.
In a country battling record inflation, mass unemployment, and growing insecurity, the Department of State Services, the DSS, has just built and commissioned a Bola Ahmed Tinubu Center for Islamic Studies in Kaduna. Let that sink in. The nation's top intelligence agency, whose job is to counter terrorism, espionage, and internal sabotage, is now in the business of constructing religious education centers named after a sitting president. If this doesn't raise red flags about the misuse of state power, blurred lines between religion and governance, and creeping authoritarianism, what will? This is not about Islam. It's about institutional integrity, about boundaries, about a security agency straying from its constitutional mandate. Why is the DSS funded by taxpayers' money building a religious center? Why now? And why name it after President Tinubu? Nigeria is a secular state, yet we are watching the dangerous politicization of faith and the creeping use of national institutions for soft propaganda. What message does this send to millions of Christians, traditionalists, and even Muslims who see through this tokenism? Is the DSS now a developer of religious infrastructure or an intelligence agency? What still, this comes at a time when Nigerians are buckling under the weight of economic hardship, hunger, and fear. Citizens can't afford food, electricity is a luxury, and insecurity remains rampant. Against this backdrop, the decision by a national security agency to commission a religious center named after the president feels not just tone deaf, but deeply insulting. It reeks of privilege and detachment from the daily struggles of ordinary Nigerians. We're not against interfaith gestures or community development, but it must come from the right quarters. If the DSS has the bandwidth to build schools, why not build a forensic lab to track terrorists or intelligence facilities to combat banditry? Good morning, Nigerians.
Very interesting which way Nigeria, and we, raise our cup to that. Thanks for staying with us. Still, let's now move to the front pages of the newspapers that we do have seasoned, respected, and one who definitely knows how to grace the stage, and his sessions, not forgetting to his analysis, are indeed on point as always. We do have Mr. Abib Aruna, who joins us on the front page.
I call him a celebrity journalist, not a celebrity in that sense, because we celebrate him, and I love to celebrate him. His wealth of knowledge.
Celebratory journalist. Right? Yeah, I see that. Welcome.
Great to have you as always.
Thank you. Pleasure. Let's start off with the Vanguard. That's what we're going to start off with. The Vanguard, and the front page of the Vanguard has a very interesting headlines, I could say. Anti-Tinubu coalition, Atiku, Obi, others shop for platform. And like I did mention to my colleagues here, the beautiful bride that's on that platform is one that starts with the S and ends with the P. You'll find out what it is. But we'd like to get to Mr. Aruna's point. Let's go on. It says Jigawa delegates disrupt coalition meeting. Will conclude talks in 2 weeks, according to Mosu ADC chairman. Don't forget the talks about ADC and SDP. We're considering SDP or new party, according to Ado. Nigeria's problems can be solved from the north, Obi says. Let's look at another very interesting. Anyway, let's start with this one. Let's start with this one because of time. We want to ensure we milk the stories properly. What's your take on this coalition that has seen different political stalwarts come together, sit together, and discuss together, especially with a focus towards the north?
I think I've been a proponent of a coalition party, a coalition platform all this while. I mean, I've said it many times that the only feasible way, the only pragmatic way, the only viable way to give APC a solid contest is to form a coalition. You know, there's no way, if you look at the politics of the third world, there's no way it will be easy for opposition parties to defeat the party in power without forming a coalition. And I've said it consistently many times that the viable route, right, to 2027 among the opposition politicians is to form an auspicious platform. Bury your ambitions, you know, come together with a purpose, you know, the solid vehicle that can challenge the ruling party. And thank God, that's what we're seeing now. We've seen it. When there was rumor last week that we said we only contest under Labour. And I was telling people that this man is making a mistake. And thank God they came out and said, no, I didn't say so. And we are seeing the pictures now everywhere of Obi, Atiku, Amici, and others. It's important. You know, I have this position for APC, even though I'm not a politician, I'm a journalist, stroke businessman now, but I'm going to pay money.
Yeah.
But it's good for our interest, for our future and democracy, for the ruling party to have an opposition platform to put them on their toes. That's what we are saying. You know, so what we saw yesterday during the weekend, I think it's good for our democracy. And Obi and the Sandlands, as I said before on this program, Obi is a solid brand that must be well managed. Thank God they are seeing it. You know, their eyes are clear and we are moving towards that. But my fear is that Warri ruled for 8 years. It will be difficult to convince people from the south to again vote for Northern as a candidate in the next election. So they should put all this in their calculation. You know, I'm not too convinced, I'm not too comfortable that Atiku is the presidential candidate going forward. Because Tinubu will still be the candidate of APC. So it will be in the best interest of the opposition, of the coalition, to look for someone that can win, someone that is credible, like Obi, to lead them. Anything otherwise, we spell doom.
All right. Just to also mention to our viewers that if you want to give your thoughts on any of the stories that we're analyzing this morning, the numbers to call are on your TV screen. Please call any of the numbers and give your thoughts on any of the stories that we're looking at on the front pages of the papers, and we'll certainly love for you to be a part of it. Well, I want us to run through all three papers and then we can see if we can go over them again. Let's go to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. On the front page, the big story, PDP, Wike withdraws from peace accords. Blames Makinde, vows to fight on till justice is served. Claims credit for most PDP governors' election. Controversy rages over national security. Then we also see here, Ekiti communities endorse Oyebanji for second term. Then we see also, still on the front page of this paper, federal government moves to deepen $1.5 billion Lekki Port Channel beyond 16.5 meters. And then still on the front page, another story we're seeing is NDLEA intercepts 6.5 billion naira opioids in Lagos Rivers ports, arrests 2 Britons. 2025 UTME, 17,025 candidates, scored 300 and above, according to JAM. And they've released results of rescheduled exams. Underage candidates results also released. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, others in closed-door meeting with National Political Consultative Group. Tensions flare as Jigawa delegates disrupt proceedings. Utomi defends shadow cabinet's calls for democratic renewal, and federal government launches intra-Africa air cargo corridor with 50% discount, unlocks East Southern Africa for Nigerian exporters. Let's come back to PDP withdrawing from peace accords.
But let's hold on for a bit. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we would look at the Tribune and then begin our analysis. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to News Central's Breakfast Central, and we still have Mr. Rabiu here for analysis on the front pages. Let's take a quick look at the Daily Independent newspaper.
Nigerian Tribune, before we went on the break, yes. Before we went on the break, we're looking at the big story of the Nigerian Tribune. PDP, Wike withdraws from peace accords. And on the big story, we're talking about how he's blamed Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, blamed Peter Amba of Enugu State, saying that they're going back on the agreements made by the party. So let's get your thoughts. There's also the argument as to who the national leadership of the party should go to, Senator Samuel Anyanwu or Ude Okoye, with Wike, of course, backing Samuel Anyanwu, and then the governors of the other states.
Backing Ude Okoye.
Yeah, the national secretary. So basically, the argument is who should be the national secretary of the party, and then also withdrawal of case against the cases in Rivers State. But let's get your full-on thoughts about it.
You know when last week on this program, last week or 2 weeks ago, that Wike attended PDP emergency meeting. And I was just laughing. You know, PDP is working for President Tinubu as the minister of FCT. Very powerful portfolio. I mean PDP, Wike.
Yeah.
Now, Wike is also a staunch member, a very major character in this crisis in PDP. Do you think Wike will want PDP to survive? We can't do anything. This man is working for the consummation of President Tinubu's second term ambition. And you still want him to be part of the peaceful moves in PDP. It's not possible. You can't have it both ways. You can't appropriate and recuperate. You know. So PDP, Wike was never interested in peace in PDP. Forget it. Take it to the bank, my sister. Wike is working for Tinubu's second term. And now want Wike again to work for peace in PDP. It's not possible. So I saw this coming. It's a normal thing.
Yeah, but the PDP says...
Wike is a very ambitious politician. Very, very ambitious. And rambunctious. Abrasive. And he talks too much.
But the PDP seems...
But he's never pragmatic or prognostic. Wike will tell you what you don't want to hear.
Now, Mr. Aruna,
I wrote a lengthy statement yesterday that it's because of Makinde and Governor of Enugu State, he also blamed the governor of Bauchi that they reneged on the agreement. Which agreement did they reach? If you're a party member, you're a strong member of PDP, what is stopping you from calling them and let's come together? Don't forget that Makinde is a friend of Wike.
They are both part of the
They came together, they were travelers, and governor of Enugu and governor of Abuja. They're together, and former governor of Benue State. So what now happened? That all of a sudden he changed his mind and I'm no longer interested in peace. No, this man is acting. You
hit the nail on the head.
He's acting a rating script. If you believe Wike is interested in peace in PDP, we are not living on this planet.
No, Mr.
This man will not work for peace in PDP because he cannot work both ways. He cannot be working for PDP and working for Tinubu. It's not possible. And his Oga, his boss is President Tinubu. And if Tinubu sees that Wike is messing up, Wike will be removed. And Wike's relevance is hinged on being a minister of FCT. That's why it's making money. If Wike is not there tomorrow, this is not the stop. But it's on the seat. That is why it's making noise. So let's talk about the facts.
You hit the nail on the head, and you talked about the facts. You can't serve two masters at the same time. Your interests can't lie in two places equally. So, but as the PDP, as a party, I mean, the party should be bigger than any one individual.
Absolutely.
Why have they not been able to do something about this situation?
That's the question I've asked over and over again. What is stopping that so clear leader of the PDP from using his influence to sanction Wike? Why is it difficult that Wike? Why is it possible that Wike is more powerful than PDP?
There are talks that he's gotten an injunction in court to prevent the courts to prevent him from being
chairmanship, the issue of INEC meeting, the issue of NWC meeting, and the issue of national secretary. These are part of the elements of the crisis. The Supreme Court gave a judgment in favor of Anyanwu. But service governors and major stakeholders are insisting on Okoye. So what is the way forward? If these people are serious, this man is saying that the former senator that protested against the current governor of Imo State, that no, I didn't resign. I'm still in the party. Went to court. And the Supreme Court gave judgment in his favor. But all these are elements of crisis, the fallout of the crisis. So I think good reason should prevail. And I'm also happy that the new coalition is tilting towards either ADC or SDP, not PDP. They know that they cannot work under the umbrella of PDP because of this crisis that is embedded in it. So I hope...
mean, a house whose foundation is already shaking, you can't build it on top of it.
These people are hell-bent in destroying that party. Not like I've been saying, that's what will be said last week, that some people somewhere are finding the embers of destruction, disunity in both PDP and Labour Party. And we all know that's 2 + 2 is 4. So it's unfortunate. It's not in my interest as a party man, but it's in terms of Nigeria and democracy for this coalition to work. You know, Nigeria should not be a one-party state. It's not good for us, right? So if this coalition works eventually, APC will be on its toes. It can't just be a one-party state that work over to victory. No. There should be an effective body coalition to give ABC a fight in the next election.
All right. Let's look at our next paper.
Okay, let's look at the daily independent newspapers. The headline there says 516 wildlife strikes hit 20 Nigerian airports in 5 years. That's a huge number. Attacks caused damage to aircraft, endanger passengers and crew. We've heard about bird strikes, and thankfully and fortunately, it hasn't led to any loss of lives here. But if it continues, I don't know whose purview this falls under. If it's the NCAA or FAN or the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace to deal with issues of bird strikes. We even went further beyond bird strike. It was reported recently, Olive, that an antelope strayed onto the wrong way. I mean, what's an antelope looking for there? So these sorts of things, you expect them in Madagascar, where you have many wild animals, not in Nigeria. So I guess the authorities have to look into that. And another issue, Mr. Abibarona, I don't know if it's just a nomenclature. The aerospace in Nigeria's Ministry of Aviation, it was the Tinubu administration that added to it. What is that aerospace element doing in it? Are we sending any satellites to space? What is Mr. Kiyamo doing about the aerospace part?
Just but before you respond to that, let's take this call from Alhaji Mohammed calling from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Alhaji. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Alhaji Hassan Mohammed. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Well, I think internal wrangling across political parties is orchestrated by the current government in part to stabilize the comfort and preparedness of those parties that are willing to fight back come 2027. And I think as an incumbent, it is sad and unfortunate that a government that is less than 2 years in power are already violating the Electoral Act, going about campaigning and campaigning for support. What does that tell you as a people? It means that the government did not do well. If they have done well, they wouldn't have been bothered. They should have waited for the window of the Electoral Act to open. Now, if you look at the crisis orchestrated in PDP across board, it's just a case of what exactly your guest in the studio has just said, that you cannot serve two masters at the same time. And for FCT minister, one of the major beneficiaries of the PDP, it will be a great disservice to this nation that the founding fathers of PDP, like Tony Aneni and the rest, to discover that one of the beneficiaries that rose from their back is coming to seal the party secretariat as a result of the inability of the party to take on it. There are waivers across, but even before he came on board, PDP has been in governance since 1999. And you just came in from nowhere, 2014, and all of a sudden, because you became a minister, You are coming to destroy the structure that makes us as a people in this country. What does that tell the international community? Are we running a tyranny government or government that is not democratic in nature? Even in North Korea, they will not do this. So I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should understand a one-party system will not help us as a people in this country, because you need to allow check and balances across board. And what does this tell you? Nigerians are going through hell. We see across borders taxation and multiple taxation, where people are owing student school fees because they could not meet their daily activities. People have sold their property to sustain their family. People have sold their vehicles. So I think the president should now look at the errors, because his first statement caused all this chaos. You cannot stand at the podium on your first second that you've not even entered the room and you say you have removed special
subsidy is gone.
No, subsidy is a good one.
All right.
I think the timing is a Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Very much, Alhaji
Thank you.
Mohammed.
Thank you, Alhaji Mohammed.
You know, I mean, just further amplifies everything that you've been saying as well.
Intervention and submission.
Right.
You know, but to your question, I don't think Nigeria is serious in terms of the way we deal with the aviation sector. Look at even small countries in Africa. Look at Morocco, South Africa, Egypt. Nigeria has not been serious about it. Even though the last administration of Warri tried a lot in terms of improving the infrastructure. If you go to Lagos, like I'm traveling out, they've improved infrastructure. But yesterday I was commenting on a post sent by Fedos Keyamo. If Keyamo did not do anything, if he refused to do something about our national career, to me, it will be a failure. Because it's about national image, it's about our prestige as a country. In 1974, look at our history. 1974, when then the biggest Boeing landed at JFK airport, people came out to say, let's see who the pilot seat. You know, it turned out to be Captain Ale, a Nigerian. Came out proudly with his jacket, landed the plane at JFK airport. And Nigeria, with Nigeria, this thing written boldly on it, visibly on it. So what went wrong? What happened? Look at Gambia, Togo. They have national career, Ivory Coast, Rwanda. So what is wrong with us? And it's part of development. I was thinking that Nigeria should focus on it. Why? What is stopping us from having national career? Then the issue of antelope and the other ones is a natural thing. God is telling you.
No.
Bro, God is telling you that. Even America is in a mess now.
Oh, yes.
National airport network in New Jersey is in a mess. They're taking other flights to other airports in the country.
Oh, yes.
So it's something that happened. It's not perfect.
Right. Let's,
but there are ways that God intervenes in our affairs.
We'll come back to still wrap up on that. But let's take a call from Leonard, calling from Abuja. Good morning, Leonard. Leonard, if you can hear us, please speak up and turn down the volume of your TV set. Let me go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, good morning, Leonard. Please talk to us.
Okay.
All right, we seem to be
in the kitchen.
there. So you say it's an act of God for antelope to just
come that you cannot comprehend.
Oh, perimeter fence. If you have perimeter fencing, there's no way an antelope or cows can stray into your
once in a while.
No, it shouldn't happen.
No, it's something that can happen. We should not overemphasize some things. We should de-emphasize it. I think
there are very serious safety implications.
We should praise them for doing a good job.
So that means if antelope comes out today, tomorrow it can be somebody one animal that will come on.
It's not a common thing. But the fact that
we've been lucky,
so
we should also improve on perimeter fencing.
You de-emphasize it. The issue has been resolved. I don't think it will happen again.
Let's hope so.
Well, don't forget
because today it will be antelope, tomorrow it might be kangaroo.
Don't forget too that it happens abroad. It happened in America.
At the coalition meeting yesterday, the Jigawa State delegate flared up. That was the story. Most of the platforms.
That's what they picked.
Yes.
And that is not the issue. I agree with the line of Vanguard. You know, that was just one thing that happened. But it should not be the main story. The main story is the coalition met. They agreed to continue discussing.
Yeah, in 2 weeks' time.
You know, we should be proud of, but we should be happy that.
Let's go back to that coalition. Sorry to take you back.
Sorry. Just still on the Daily Independent. Some positive news now. Since let's highlight positive things. Tinubu's mining reforms generated $800 million foreign investment, Alake said. When he was appointed, people thought, you know, this might be a square peg in a round hole because his background is media. He was a former commissioner for information and strategy under the Tinubu administration in Lagos, and now they're putting in mines. Yes, Tinubu's media handler. And then he's now in charge of Ministry of Mines. And there's been talks about diversification and moving away from oil. What do you make of this headline? $800 million investment in 2 years. Is it good enough? And
I think the mining ministry, that sector has seen some progress the past 2 years. And we should give kudos to Mr. Delineation for doing a good job. Look at the money they're generating. And people that are getting licenses, you know, to the country. And the people, the security in that sector has improved, you know, overnight. So I think we should
mining marshals. And
absolutely. I think it should be appreciated. Because we should not rely solely on the petroleum for foreign exchange. You know, we are making some millions from the mining sector. But the other thing is that it should not be dominated by foreigners. As we are saying, the Chinese are everywhere. You know, and Nigeria should be more involved.
And a fairer system.
To participate more.
All right, I just wanted us to go back to the anti-Tinubu coalition meeting that took place yesterday. I like the fact that you also highlighted what the press did and what some did not do, which is focus on the coalition, but it seems like, of course, for trending, you had to focus on the delegates who were fighting. Yeah, I mean,
dog bites man.
Say if it
is not right? The headline, but man bites dog. Yes,
exactly. That's what makes the headlines. But let's go back to this coalition. Politicians are now shopping for political party. They are out there looking for the best political party that would, you know, suit their intentions of unseating the current administration. What do you think of talks about the ADC, the SDP, and what do you make of this coalition? I also ask, who would be the front man? If you have a former governor,
how would they reach their agreement?
You have a Peter Obi, you have His Excellency, yes, who would be the front man?
Bear in mind that the Obedience have said any coalition that does not have their principal as the flag bearer, they will not support that coalition.
I think we should not downplay the importance of these guys or their capacity to do the right thing, to pick someone that can give Tinubu a fight. We have even Shekarawa. We have Amechi, and Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso with a lot of followers. These guys know what they are doing. I don't think they should form a coalition under an existing political party like ADC or SDP. I was thinking that they will form a new party, as the APC did in 2014, from the scratch. That will give them they will have the power structure in their hand. They will control the structure and everything of that party. But coming to contest under ADC, some of them are more disposed to ADC now than SDP. We they think Rufai is trying to control. You know, I think they should be very, very careful. And as I said, these are experienced politicians, and they know the rich, they know who they are fighting. Tinubu, who is a master of the game. So they will be very, very careful, very circumspect, and think very deep in who they pick, as I said, as their candidate. If they pick someone that has a lot of garbage, they have problem. Liabilities, they have problem. But someone, there's no perfect person among them. But some are more electable, right? And Nigerians are watching. They're watching. They cannot go under the PDP any longer, because some people are hell-bent in destroying PDP. Labour Party is shaking. With the
Abure has come out to say that.
The combination of Abure.
Abure has said that he now supports Peter.
We all know who the paymasters of Abure.
Abure has said he supports.
Who is the paymaster?
No, I won't say that one. I won't say that one openly. I mean, all those things are known.
All right.
And things that we don't see. But the media should focus. The media should insist No, that is part of the media's work. You know, make sure that we have viable opposition, coalition party. Nigeria must not be
a one-party state. All right, we'll come back to still, expand on this some more. But let's now head to Ido's Bridge, where there have been demolitions. The Minister of Works had given a notice to these illegal structure occupants to evacuate the buildings weeks ago, or the bridge weeks ago, but apparently the demolitions have occurred, and we have our correspondent, Israel Urhobo, who's on ground to bring us reports from Ido Bridge. We can see that there have been demolitions behind you, Israel. Talk to us. The people, the occupants of this bridge and those who have been around it, did they heed the evacuation request by the Minister of Works? What's the update?
Well, good morning, Olive, and Gwenga as well. And Joe, I hope you guys are doing great. It's really sunny out here. I think the weatherman says it's about 36, 37 degrees. It's pretty hot. But then again, another issue that is hot here in Ido today is the demolition of illegal structures. As you can see, the order was given by the Minister of Works several weeks ago. I was here when he gave that order. New Central was here, and indeed the illegal occupants here were told to leave, and that order has now been carried out. I spoke to one of the traders here today, and what he did say was, yes, there was ample notice given to them, and yes, they heeded the notice, they heeded the call, and they took out their goods. So the issue here is this: for a very, very long time, this bridge here that you can see, this is Ido Bridge, and as you can see, it's due for repairs. It is dilapidated, and the Minister of Works was here on site inspection, and he did say that the bridge will need to be repaired. And he also did mention that part of the reason why this structure is the way it is right now is due to the illegal structures that were constructed just underneath the bridge. And it resulted into the goods that were stored in all these makeup stalls. It resulted into a fire at some point. We had chemicals in there as well, resulted into a fire, and the fire that erupted has now affected the integrity of the bridge. Like so. And that's the reason why they have been told to leave this place. The order was given, the evacuation order was given. They heeded the call. Yesterday, the minister was here to ensure that the demolition of these shanties, these structures, indeed happen, and that's exactly what has happened here so far. It happened yesterday. I was hoping to meet officials of the ministry here today, but so far so good. Not a single one of them is on ground at the moment. I'm thinking much later they will be here, but so far so good. The illegal structures under Ido Bridge have now been demolished. They are no longer here, as you can see. But indeed, it also do raises questions here. I spoke to one of the people here today, and he said that they have been here for many years. He said about 25 years. And the question is, who are those people that allow them to stay under this bridge for so long? Well, they didn't say that they were actually selling goods under the bridge. They only made use of the bridge, under the bridge, as a storage facility, more like a warehouse. But then the warehouse has now resulted into a failed bridge. I'm thinking, because that's what people are saying here, that much later this bridge might just have to be closed down for repair works. We don't know exactly what the minister will say for now, but one thing is clear, one thing is certain: the integrity of this bridge has been compromised due to the fire that happened here some time ago. And the minister did say, yes, indeed, they have got to go ahead and put the structure back in place. Olive?
Well, thank you very much, Israel, for bringing us this update. It's really scary to see that people have been living there for 25 years, you say. Who exactly gave them the permission, with the repairs that need to be carried out there? One wonders what would have happened if the minister did not give this order for evacuation before, and
the controller of works announced in Lagos State. Don't they do on-spot inspection of all federal government? Don't they take inventory and inspect? So many questions begging for answers. And Nigerians themselves, how can you be so lawless that you've turned federal infrastructure to private and personal property So everybody
Let's not forget that we saw this same replica, a replica of this at Akpongbong.
Different places.
Which eventually sparked the fire and affected the bridge. Akpongbong, under the bridge.
Yes.
I remember I also passed there. It was hectic, where the governor had to swing in quickly. I have a question. My question is, why is Lagos State not revealing the names of these persons who gave these permits? It's a question that we should think about, because it's happening in the real estate sector. Recently, some houses were demolished, along the Lekki Expressway, and videos have started coming out that it was water all through, and they were being sand-filled by the developers.
Internal
the
results of their own internal
they said they were paying 5 million to each of the, in quotes, Lagos State representatives. So why is it that they are not, after they demolish the houses? I mean, good job to the commissioner, fantastic job.
Environment.
But yes, but it shouldn't stop there. I think there should be a name and shame and apprehension of the person or persons who connive and plan with these people and say, because one thing I know for sure, I mean, I grew up in the mainland, it's really, one thing I know for sure is, whenever you find shanties like this, there's always somebody at the head who says, pay your monthly fee.
Oh, yes.
So
they are organized.
Exactly.
Yes,
so when you are apprehending the shop owners, who do you pay to? Because some of them have receipts. They are organized. They have receipts.
Yeah. So there are people in the ministries that are doing this.
Urbanization has its own hazards, its own problems. That is why every government must be on its toes to address those things. I remember when my Oga was there, Mr. Ambode. You see, you have to make sure that these people who are in these ministries, who are in these agencies, are doing their job. There's nothing like fear or favor. Do your job. Don't do your job, this is what you get. This is what you get. And one thing I realized...
I mean, look at shops under a pedestrian bridge.
One thing I realized when government is...
Wow. Lock up shops.
Enforcement is always very, very poor.
They pay rent.
Enforcement is a big job.
And who's collecting the money for the rent?
No, that's people are collecting the money. That's what is called ballet. Some campaigns out there.
Ballet on government infrastructure.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
What about the ones on the road that you...
Funny enough, I'm even a bit concerned about how the demolition is being carried out.
If you are establishing a business in Lagos, you have paid for the land, for everything, agency and everything. Bros, you will pay some money. Yes.
Even to build houses now.
People like us are very stubborn. I'm waiting for your money, but I don't normally pay. But I don't pay twice. Yes, you will pay. There's nothing you can do. I mean, why? That is the way it is all over the world, my sister. That's the way it is. Some people out at the background who are very powerful, who secure, who tell you that we are the one that secured your thing for you. You have to give them money. So it's for government to be decisive and consistent in enforcing its rules and regulations. That is it. When that is done, because the report said this people have been staying there for 25 years.
25 years.
And there's no way the activities will not affect the structure of the bridge.
Exactly.
That we are facing now. So government should enforce its laws. People are stubborn. Human beings are very stubborn by nature.
And it's, I mean, it's
government
interesting.
will be the best stake. I mean, that you obey the laws and you face the consequence.
That they had to take the federal government. I mean, the bridge was built by the federal government to raise the alarm.
You must enforce your laws. That is the way it is.
Can you see when Israel was showing the bridge how tattered and old?
Because if you don't enforce it, you spend more money, more billions to repair it.
And you know what's weird? What's weird is that if
more money
there's still people that, if we're not careful, there are people who will still complain that they are being evicted and everything.
Of course.
And they need to follow up because they need to inspect because people will go back.
They'll go back.
Like the railroads. I remember when Governor Amechi, when they opened the rails, people were selling just, the train, high-speed train. It comes and then they just move their goods to the side when it passes their back.
Yeah, we used to have that in Yaba.
What level of...
Well, that's also a tourist attraction in some countries.
I mean,
Bangladesh in India.
Bangladesh in India.
Okay, we need to go now. We need to go. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you to our audience.
Thanks to the callers as well.
Who have, and people who have called in to be a part of the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olive MOD.
And I'm Benga Borough. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.